Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my mind, got no time for that limelight. I'm from California, man, I guess we'll start with that. Banged out starter caps, glued to the cul-de-sac, looking like an artifact, trying to get their money back. Yellow jackets coming, mama about to have a heart attack. Southeast San Diego, we was at the heart of that. You moved about the hood, my nigga, you ain't want no part of that. Move to work and let the money drip the laundromat. I pray to God the homie get his little daughter back. So many problems and it's not even a part of rap. So many suckers and they hating and they copycat. And life is bigger than these bitches that you hollered at. And if you bleed a dollar, better get $3 back. And all I'm giving is the facts. Pay attention to the stats and never making mention of the jacks. Gotta keep the money stacked, work your way through the traps. Money motivated to the max. Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my.
I'm back. We back. Welcome to the remix with Cali Dre, man. Cali Dre is in the building. Shout out to Denise. Denise is in the building as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's on your mind? Oh, yeah, man. We finna get into it today, Denise. We finna get real educational on this AI versus humanity. You know what I mean? Hold on. Let me get the logos out the way first. Let me get me back on the screen. So let's start there. Hold on. Don't stay right there. Don't move. I'm gonna be right with you. There I is. How y'all doing, man? What's happening? Welcome to the remix with Cali Dre. You know what I'm saying? We in the building. I got a little something different for y'all today, man. We're gonna go into episode 2 of AI versus humanity, man. And to help me break this down, I have a very special guest here today. None other than Miss US Navy. You know what I'm saying? Uh Most definitely appreciate her for tapping in. You know what I mean? Oh, I think she disconnected. Is you connected? I think you back. Are you back? Can you see me,
I
Miss
think I'm
US Navy?
back.
Okay. Yeah, we can't see you on this. We can't see you on the screen though. Yes. Miss US Navy having a little connection issues, man. We're gonna make sure we get her back in. But we finna drop this AI versus humanity content, episode 2. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we finna bring it, man. We finna bring it. Um, Let me see if I can get her connected real quick. Can you are you connected? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, bet. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ms. US Navy. Give us a little bit of your qualifications and your competencies for the people so they can know what you all about.
I appreciate you so much.
You
Thank
gonna
you
cut your
so
camera off?
much. I'm trying. I'm not sure what's happening.
Oh, that's all right. It's all right. Don't even worry about it. It'll probably pop up. Oh yeah, see, she having some technical difficulties, man.
I am. I'll fix
Go ahead,
that
go
in a
ahead and
minute.
go ahead and let the people know what you all about.
I am a United States Navy veteran, John Maxwell certified coach, trainer, and speaker, and founder of VCI Consulting. So, my mission is really simple. I just want to help people not end up like I did, blindsided and unprepared. So, at 50 years old, my husband passed away, and that was just last year, leaving behind me, 2 kids, 2 dogs. We did not have insurance, an attorney, no identity theft protection. So, we were kind of just blindsided. So today I decided, you know what, I'm going to help clients protect what matters most. So I work with clients in helping customize financial solutions and affordable legal and identity protection for them businesses, their employees, and their families. So I am here to really help people navigate change, build stronger organizations, and just prepare for the future, much of which is happening with AI. So I'm glad to get into this conversation today and really take a dive in and see what's going on in that world.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. This AI is most definitely about to change the game. It's gonna change everything we know. Shout out to Denise, man. She said my little cousin is leaving for the Navy today.
Oh,
Yeah,
yay, go Navy.
yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah. And she said her sincere condolences as well for the loss of your husband as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, most definitely, man. But yeah, Miss US Navy, very, very smart, very educated, very well connected. And so that's why we trying to get her on the show. The internet is trying to prevent us from getting to the next level. The internet trying to stop us from getting to the motherfucking promised land right now. But we gonna fight through it. Shout out to Dr. Nino in the building. What's up, champ? How you living, man? Yeah, I figured I would get in here on a good Sunday daytime You know what I'm saying? Before the night train start kicking in, for the Thunderbird start kicking in, for the Mad Dog 2020 start flying. You know what I'm saying? And get y'all a little bit of this AI versus humanity. Miss US Navy here. I'm gonna drop you down and then come back up. See if you can come back up. That might fix it. You know what I mean? See if you could come back up. Yeah, we got Miss US Navy in the building here. I'm gonna while she getting her stuff together, man. I'm gonna go ahead and roll some of the video. Get you guys acclimated to what we talking about here, man. So we doing the AI versus humanity topic today, man. And basically what that means is AI is coming for all y'all motherfucking jobs. Whatever you do, whatever you think you can do, whatever you used to be good at, whoever you used to be, these motherfucking robots right here, bruh, they coming for your spot. These robots is coming for your motherfucking spot, champ. So I need y'all to be aware of this, man. And it's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect every walk of life. It's going to affect every single thing that we do. And so we got to be ready for this, man. We got to be ready for this. I'm going to just let this video play a little bit so y'all can kind of see some of the capabilities. This was at the Chinese New Year celebration. They dropped off some humanoid robots. And I thought this was a pretty good illustration and demonstration of what actually these robots are capable of. I got you back here, Ms. US Navy. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. You coming in a lot clearer now too. So yeah, that sounds better. That sounds better. Yeah. So give us a little bit of your. Oh man, she did dropped out. Yeah, she gonna be in and out. She gonna be in and out. We gonna get this thing right. She gonna be in and out. Give us a little bit of your expertise in the IT space. What you perform some IT stuff for the Navy? Is that correct?
Yes, I was a cryptology technician operator for the Navy for 8 years. And before crypto became a mainstream word, the military was doing that, as they often do, already experimenting with these things before they hit the civilian marketplace. So, encrypted communications was a primary job duty for us. And I can't tell you how important that is, especially in this AI race. So I worked after that for Anderson Consulting, Accenture, IBM, Sony Pictures. So I've seen a little bit of the tech world, if you will, and it's ever progressing. And I think the most important thing is not, who can do it better, but who's got the safeguards in place for it. That's the most important thing. Who's safeguarding, how they safeguard their technology.
Yeah, and I think we touched on that the last show, and I think that was one of the major questions that came up, which was I think the technology is really outpacing the safeguards at this point, and that's why a lot of the whistleblowers that you see out there online, a lot of these guys were the first generation AI, second generation AI, helped really build the foundation for what you're seeing on your screen right now. And these guys are alarmed that that technology is outpacing the safeguards. Shout out to Denise. She said, "Oh, she has an excellent resume." Yeah, most definitely, man. We bring nothing but excellence over here at the Remix with Callie Drake. You know how we do this. Yeah, listen, y'all know how we do. I ain't gonna get on my late night mode. Y'all know how we do over here. Nothing but the best. Okay, nothing but the best. But yeah, man. So that's basically that's how long were you in the Navy?
8 years.
You were in 8 years? Okay. Yeah, we definitely appreciate your service over here, most definitely.
Thank you so much.
But as you guys can see, man, they got if you're looking at the screen, I'm just showing you a little visuals of kind of what we're gonna be discussing today, man. A lot of these China is actually at the forefront of this technology, man. They got crossing guards, they got police officers, they have, I think that they're working on, or they already have like a military aspect to their AI technology and more, man. So I felt like this was they're really ahead of the game when it comes to this, or at the forefront of the game. So I definitely felt like these videos will give you guys a good idea of kind of what we're looking at, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. This the Remix with Callie Dre. We on this AI versus humanity today. I had to get the daytime show in before that liquor start flowing. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all still sober. It's Sunday. You shouldn't be drinking nothing but mimosas. Okay. But yeah, but before the mimosas start flying, get a bar of what we looking at. Let's take a step into the future. You know what I'm saying? Because the future is right now. You feel me? But yeah, the Chinese technology very much advanced, man. They are very much embracing this. you know, you got martial arts robots. I'm gonna just skip through a little bit of this so I can give you guys a little bit of the variations of, you know, what's going on. But yeah, and I think that, you know, I think this technology can be very useful and very beneficial for humankind, but we got to definitely safeguard it and make sure that we stay the predators and don't become the prey. You know what I'm saying? Shit, they got robot dogs walking around. You know what I'm saying? What is that? That's a robot German Shepherd? Is that a robot Yorkie? Like what, a golden retriever robot? Like, come on, bro. So they way ahead of the game on this technology, man. And um, you know, they have a their investment in it, I think, is most and just like technology, I think China has been at the forefront of a lot of technology for many years. So this shouldn't be too surprising. Uh Drake, can I correct you? AI is started in China in 2015. Oh, okay, yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Bring that knowledge over here, brother. Thank you, brother. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm just giving y'all a little variation, man. We gonna dip into the we gonna speak to the experts, man. I like talking to the experts, man, the subject matter experts and everything. You know what I mean? So that's what we finna get into right now, man. Actually, hold up. Do I want actually? Oh no, it's let's look at this video real quick. Let's look at this video real quick. So it says China unveiled its first army of humanoid police robots. So they got robots policing the streets, man. You know what I'm saying? So you know this is where we heading, man. This is where the future's going. But are we ready? That's the question, man. And I that's the reason why I wanted to do this show, because I know that we're not ready. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that we're not ready. What do you think? Are we ready, Miss US Navy?
I don't think we're ready for the alter effects that can happen. It looks great on the front end, but you know, in the back of my mind, it's always Skynet. So I just absolutely wonder, you know, what happens if they get smarter than we do. And I think that some of the AI designers have spoken to that already. Like, you know, it's the possibility that they can outmaneuver our human intervention, and that's the scariest part.
They're already smarter than we is. Listen, America's
Exactly.
getting dumber. I don't know if y'all knew that.
By the
America's
moment.
getting a lot dumber than it used to be, bruh. And if the man
Indeed.
in the White House don't let you know that, then damn it, I don't know what is. But at the end of the day, yeah, they already got the jump on us on some educational thing. But the dangerous part about this is that these robots at a certain point will be directly connected to the internet and be able to
That's
absorb all of that
scary.
information and
Yeah. And
create its own
manipulated and
pattern.
manipulated. That's the problem.
Yeah. So those are the things that we most there's this race to get these robots out on the streets for. I think we covered it last show. It was like a 50 trillion dollar industry or something like that. That's
Yeah, they
emerging,
said
right?
about $25,000 per unit. So who can
Right.
afford that but the, you know, highest
Right.
level of
And who's getting
income
a piece of
earners?
that? This is the other reason I want to try to bring this to people's attention, is because here's the world that we're going to go to, right? These robots probably is going to take over. We're going to have a whole lot more free time on our hands. How you going to eat? How you going to make money if the robot can do every job you're going to do? So we need to be thinking about a universal basic income. And we also need to be thinking about getting a percentage of all the sales of these robots. This is a $50 trillion industry that nobody really asked for. But damn it, if they're going to replace us, we better get some bread for it. So that's kind
Right.
of what I'm on, along with them reparations. Get the reparations back. You know what I'm saying? The city of Evanston, Illinois, is fighting a reparations battle against the Trump administration right now at this moment. Get behind Evanston, Illinois, damn it.
I just
But
think this is going to draw a greater divide between the haves and the have-nots. It's ridiculous. I like what Dr. Nino said in your chat here. Please get ready because it'll be the new luxury. But who can afford it really? If it's at $25,000 per unit, yeah, who can afford it? So I like your idea that there needs to be some type of incentive if we are outed, you know, ousted of jobs, ousted of opportunities. How can people possibly live if there's nothing but machines doing all the work?
yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So as y'all can see, man, you know, yeah, these robots, man. I mean, listen, I'm a very progressive individual. I embrace technology. I embrace the new whatever's coming up. You know what I mean? But there has to be the proper safeguards. We can't unleash these robots on the street and not have a plan for me and you. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm
Indeed.
displaced, what am I gonna do? Yeah, I don't give a damn about what this robot can do if I can't eat. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna make
Exactly.
me want to go take a baseball bat to all these
And just,
robots and get my job back.
yes, yes.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
also, you know, we lose the human element of things. So yeah, technology is great, but we're not technology beings, right? We're still human. So our feelings, emotions, all of those things cannot be replaced by robots. So I just wonder, you know, at what cost, or how far will it go before we start losing that human element of things. So, like I mentioned, I think in our first conversation, you know, in the medical field, technology is great, but do I really want a robot nurse, or do I want a human being as my nurse? I mean,
Or do I
so we
want
just
this
have to
damn
really think
robot
about
ball
it.
here chasing me around the damn
Right,
field?
exactly.
Do I want to be running from this robot right here, bro?
No, you
That's
don't.
the real question. He got a tire. He probably gonna do about 60.
So, what are you going to do against this
And he
thing?
throwing nets like Spider-Man. Oh, nah, bro.
Spider-Man.
Nah, bro.
Wow.
Nah, this is a fucking problem right here, bro.
Because what if
This
it's
is a
the wrong
problem right here.
person? You know, there's always a miscalculation. It could be a short could happen, a default, a defunct. You know, you never know what can happen with technology. It's not perfect.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Shout out to Miss US Navy. We got her in the building. We breaking down this AI versus humanity, man. These robots is coming for your job, man. What you gonna do about it? That's where we at. They say 3 to 9 years. I'm thinking it's probably closer to that 3 year mark because technology moves pretty fast. If y'all got iPhones every 3 months, they trying to get you to buy another damn iPhone. And so I mean that's pretty much the speed of technology. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So let's dive in, man. Let's tap in with the experts, man. Uh, because I want to hear what the experts saying. You good on time? You good on time?
Oh
Ray?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you for asking.
Okay. All right, bet. Let's dive in with the experts, man. This the remix with Kelly Dre, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy. Last week we gonna pretty much kind of take off where we left off last week because I thought that was a great spot. Um, and I'll rewind it a bit so we could get that initial question going. But this is episode 2 of AI versus humanity. Damn it, if you want to know what happened last episode, go watch episode 1. You know what I'm saying? Please, yeah, run them numbers up for your boy. You know what I'm saying? But let's tap in with the experts, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
Automated AI researchers. And I can snap my fingers and go from one digital AI researcher to fork it and have 100 million digital AI researchers going at superhuman speed. So this is what's called an intelligence explosion. And if you read or your listeners know the paper AI 2027, that paper was about why the companies are actually in a race to automate AI research. That's the prize, because if I automate AI research, I can just get way ahead of everybody else. And so because this race is so intense and the race is the dominating characteristic of why they're deploying the technology, they're really in a race to do this intelligence explosion, but that's incredibly unsafe. And people need to understand why, and maybe we can get into that.
If you were to help people understand what AI is currently as what it means in large language models versus AGI versus super intelligence and the graph of that, how would you differentiate those three terms so people understand?
Sure.
Okay, boom, right out the gate. This is a home run right here. You guys need to especially pay attention to this scenario that he's laying out because this is the scenario that all of these big shots are shooting for, right? What he's about to lay out to you is the wet dream of Bezos and Musk and all these tech dudes that's gonna make trillions of dollars off of this technology, and they want to cut you out. I'm trying to cut you in. They trying to cut you out. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention.
So first of all, AI has been with us for a long time. People have been using AI when you look at your Face ID on your phone. It's using some AI to figure that out. And you take a photo on your phone, it uses AI to clean up the photo and clean up the pixels. When you highlight some text and say, speak it out loud, it's using AI to generate a voice. We've had text to speech and these kinds of things for a long time. When you use social media and it figures out which post, which video to show you next in your newsfeed, it's using AI to make a prediction of what video could I show you next that's most likely to keep you watching. And it makes predictions with high accuracy, and that's why people keep doom scrolling, because it's really good at knowing what's going to keep your attention. All of these, though, were narrow AI systems. It's like very narrow, right? You bought this product in Amazon, maybe the AI can say, here's 5 other products that I can recommend to you. That's a very simple, narrow AI. That's different than what they're really aiming for now, which is general intelligence. So artificial general intelligence. General meaning do all the things that a human mind can do. So think about everything that a human can do. You can plan, you can develop a strategy, you can think up an idea, you can ask questions about your own ideas and be recursively in a loop of like looking through your own thoughts. You can make predictions. You can empathize with the person. You can read signals. You can pick up patterns. I know it sounds abstract, but there's a lot of things that a human brain can do and a lot of things that a human mind can do. And AGI is the goal of replicating that entire suite of things, because that is unique in that I can replace a human being. I can replace a legal analyst at my company.
There it is there. There it is there. Miss U.S. Navy, what you think about that?
I think we're experiencing that directly right now, me and you, at our current place. I see this happening all the time. So, and that's what people are hurrying up to try to do. It's literally happening right now. Even in the accounting space, in the IT space, and even in customer service, how often do we call and an automated voice, automated bot is helping you? You have to press so many different buttons to try to get to a live person nowadays, right? That's all of our experiences. So I think it's unfortunate because people don't consider the alternative of what they're doing when they're outsourcing the actual humans, replacing them with the AI technology. Then what are those humans going to do?
No, I think they do consider it. They don't care.
They don't, exactly. And I think it would be much more advantageous to for any company, instead of just focusing on just the AI and the outsourcing that it can do for different jobs. Well, how do you reallocate those bodies so that you can make your company better? You can make it, expand it. You can use those brain cells to come up with more things. I just think that we're kind of limiting ourselves as far as at the same time that we're trying to advance. So the company is trying to outsource and do everything quicker and better and faster. But at the same time, again, you're going to use that human element. And like you said, they don't care. It's just become a money machine. So it's problematic. It is extremely problematic. And people aren't looking at the alternative of what are you doing with all of these people, human bodies who now have nothing to do, who don't have these jobs, or now they got to go and take low paying, basically high school equivalent paying jobs, because now they don't have to pay these salaries, 90, 6-figure, 7-figure salaries. They're just going to use these robots. But I guess my question would be, and I think that's where he also said, is that the robots will be able to make the robots. We see it in manufacturing already, right? Where the machines are making machine parts. It's not humans making the machines anymore, but the machines are doing a lot of the manufacturing of their own parts. So, it seems fantastic, but also, what are the alternatives? Nobody's really come up with a plan for that.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're doing this show right here. That's why you got Kelly Dre and Miss U.S. Navy asking these questions, man, because at the end of the day, this is going to affect everybody. It's going to affect my job. It's going to affect your job. It's going to affect everybody's job. So,
and it's going to affect kids. What about all these kids? What kind of future are they going to have? What are they? What do you go to college for, or trade schools? I think the trades are the only ones that are safe for now, because a robot, not yet, at least, you really want a plumber who knows how to do plumbing in your house, where a robot might not be able to do that, right? But that time may be coming too, right? Electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, HVAC techs. I mean, we have to think about that, really seriously. So, I think that's why the trades are exploding right now, because right now those jobs are still, really physical labor type jobs, where they haven't programmed computers and robots to do these things yet. But I don't think that it's far off.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's not far off. They're saying 3 to 9 years for this AGI that he's describing. Now, let me throw this in there, right? This AGI that he's describing is just phase 2. there is a phase 3. So pay attention to where he's going with this. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
I can replace a person who's doing copywriting, of writing copy for the title of this video. I can replace someone who would have I had to pay to illustrate some graphic for this video. And when I have general intelligence, that gives me something that we said before, suddenly makes companies want to pay AI companies to do their work rather than pay their own employees. So that's why AGI is the prize.
Yeah.
And if I have AGI, again, it's not just that I have this like one digital brain, it's I can snap my fingers and use those huge data centers that are bigger than the size of Manhattan. They're like 8 miles long or whatever, that are filled with these NVIDIA chips. So just imagine, data centers that are almost the size of Manhattan, filled with these NVIDIA GPUs.
Where are they?
They're all over the country. They're all over the world, mostly
Remote
in the US
places?
right now. Remote places where there's nuclear power, places where they build coal plants, wind turbines. I think, methane turbines powered by methane. Elon Musk's one near Memphis, Tennessee, has a bunch of methane producing turbines next to it. I think that's right. You can snap your fingers and you can go from this one digital brain to now I have 100 million of them doing work simultaneously. They're writing code, they're performing analysis, they're agents that are running around the internet, booking flights, paying people for things, writing messages to people on Craigslist, paying people in crypto. It's a crazy transformation of our economy being automated by AI. And that's why AGI is so sought after. But then what you want is there's no reason why intelligence should be capped, people believe.
Okay, so there it is there. So now that's the phase 2 that they see. Dre, me and you are going to get it the worst because we in Cali, yeah, most definitely, bro. You already know how this California politics go, man. Shit, they charging us more for every damn thing. But this is phase 2. I want y'all to understand that, right? The replacement of you and your job is just phase 2. the replacement of you in the economy is just phase 2. Okay, there is a phase 3, and he finna get to it right now, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. This is AI versus humanity, man. What you gonna do, champ? What you gonna do?
They think there's no reason why, human intelligence is the smartest kind of intelligence that we could have. You could have systems that are smarter than human. Think of the chess playing AI that IBM made in 2004 that beat Garry Kasparov at chess. So that's super intelligent in a narrow domain of chess. But now you have AIs that are going to be super intelligent than all human programmers combined.
Whoa, what's that?
Yeah, hey, that commercial came right on time. Like, whoa, what is that? That's kind of the same sentiments that I had. Like, what is that, champ?
Essentially, if they wanted to.
There are agents that are running around there's no reason why, human intelligence is the smartest kind of intelligence that we could have. You could have systems that are smarter than human. Think of the chess playing AI that IBM made in 2004 that beat Garry Kasparov at chess. So that's super intelligent in a narrow domain of chess. But now you have AIs that are going to be super intelligent than all human programmers combined.
Well, they could
or all human
control
biologists
humans.
combined.
They could control humans then, essentially, if they wanted to.
Yes, because the way that people in the AI risk space refer to it is, can you have something that is less intelligent ever controlled something that was 10 times more intelligent than it?
No.
Yeah, that's the game changer right there. That's the game changer right there. We that's the point where we go from being the predator to being the prey. You know what I'm saying? There never in history has something been 10 times more intelligent and been subservient to something that's 10 times less intelligent. Like, y'all got to understand that. That's called the food chain. Okay? That's called the food chain. I know y'all done heard about the food chain in your life, right? We go down the totem pole once they get to this second/third phase of AI that they're reaching for. You got anything you want to say on that, Ms. US Navy?
Yeah, Skynet.
Skynet. If you don't know what Skynet is, go watch
Absolutely.
I, Robot, one of the best movies, bro. one of the
Mhm.
best movies because it was way ahead of its time, and I
It
think
really was.
it perfectly
Yeah.
encapsulates
It's art
where
coming
we're
to
headed.
life. Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hit that like button.
Let me give you a metaphor because I know this might sound sci-fi to listeners. Let's say you're sitting around. It's a bunch of chimpanzees. The chimpanzees are hanging out and they're grooming each other and taking the fleas off each other's backs, and they're drinking, eating some bananas. And they're like, I have an idea. I think we should make these super smart chimpanzees that are 10 times smarter than the chips, than us. And one of them says, yeah, that sounds amazing. Like maybe they'll be able to do all this crazy stuff for us, and they'll be able to, benefit chimpanzees, and they'll automate and create this world of abundance. We'll never have to go search for bananas again. And then the other one says, like, no, this sounds really dangerous. Like, well, if we create this smarter than intelligent version of chimpanzees, like, are we going to be able to control it? And the other responds, like, well, what's the worst they're going to do? Like, eat all the bananas? So just imagine, where do chimpanzees exist in our world now? Or just imagine one sitting in the Manhattan Zoo.
Yeah, in a zoo or jungle.
In a zoo or a jungle. And mostly we've probably extincted a bunch of the species and made it harder for them to probably thrive in certain places. And we've taken over the world. Could the chimpanzees even envision gunpowder or airplanes or nuclear weapons or quantum physics or Einstein or computation or iPhones or 5G? They can't envision, they couldn't literally conceptualize what a smarter version of them could create. So just to ground people in how insane this is, we are the chimpanzees now, and we're sitting around a table doing human things, mostly scrolling on social media and doing nonsense. And we're like about to make this way smarter thing. We are making this smarter thing. And it's already out competing us at a number of different domains. I believe it's already beating military generals at war game strategy and planning. And as soon as it outcompetes us, there's going to be a race for who's willing to automate and have AIs do military planning and strategy versus having humans do military planning and strategy. So you keep zooming out, and it's like every place where there's a human making decisions, as soon as AI is better or more effective, we're doing it faster, there's going to be the mass temptation to swap it out, because then as a company, I start outcompeting the other companies. Or as a nation state, I start outcompeting the other nation states. So it really is this race to kind of automate, but then we are increasingly handing over decision-making to machines that are not infallible, that make mistakes, the same ones that, generate 6 fingers on the hand that hallucinate an answer to an image query, also hallucinate answers to your questions. Well, what happens when they're hallucinating in the middle of a battle plan and they're automating some kind of war in Taiwan?
Now,
What you think about that, Miss U.S. Navy? You got the military experience. We're going to defer to you in this segment right here.
I think I said before, it's dangerous. You don't want it to. He's really right. You don't want it to get away from you, because then they'll start outsmarting, outmaneuvering the actual human who is in control of it. So on a military standpoint, I think it's excellent, like I said, to have this type of technology, or the robots or the dogs, because you can send them in instead of sending actual human flesh into places where, it could be more catastrophic and could be more, we have a lot less paraplegic, vets. However, at the same time, it's the technology, and not only that, not only getting away from you, but getting into the hands of your enemies. Okay,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that is
Absolutely.
the most dangerous part about all of it. Is not that, not only can it just wipe us out as a human factor, but your enemies. And that's really the race here. Who's going to stay on top of it and ahead against enemy nations, which we have many. So that's really a huge concern, where now your machines are, I don't know if you remember, but way back in the day, this is way old, but what was that machine? Matthew Broderick was in it, and they had set up this machine, and the machine looked like it was about to go to war. Remember that movie?
I do remember. I
And
don't remember the name of it. I do remember the movie.
yes, and it was the machine playing a game on them. He had manipulated the entire system so that 2 countries thought they were really about to go to war, and it wasn't. It was just a game, war game.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
absolutely.
So, we have to be really careful, because, this is what I fear more so than the extinction of us as humans, but just in the wrong hands, we're done. You have to be
Oh
really
yeah.
careful. So I don't know. I think that we're making a huge mistake by making them too smart, because right now people only think about the financial advantage of that. How can my company make more money? How can I stay ahead of everyone? How can I, have the best stock and all of that? But on the flip side, you know, it surpasses the money, where now we're into literal death threats. Like, we need to worry about a nation like the IRGC, for example. Okay, this is a known
Oh yeah.
enemy of America for our
Yeah.
entire lives. And what if they got this technology? So you need to just really think about that more so than anything else. So I think I think we should have barriers or boundaries, or I'm scared that we never will, because the financial aspect of it. But it has to be that we're mandated, so we don't get to a certain point that it ends up taking over, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, listen, I've been telling fools for a long time. Them hustle robots is on the way. Okay, yeah, it's gonna be robots on the corner serving, slanging, pimping, hustling. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. I
They're
know how this
already
shit go.
delivering food. You see them on Melrose, right? They're already
I
delivering
know.
food.
Yeah. The Tesla robot, okay, it's gonna have gold teeth in his mouth with a fat chain on, doing somebody else's bidding. I'm just, this is where, come on, bro. I know how this shit goes. So most definitely getting into the wrong hands, like, country. But I'm thinking about in society, man. There's a lot of goofy motherfuckers just
It is.
next door to me.
It
That's
is.
going to rewire the robot to be doing all kind of good, boosting wallets and
Oh my
purses and all
God.
kinds of shit. The little dog robot gonna be snatching purses. Come on, bro. Like, I know how this thing go, man. So
Indeed.
this
Dr.
is
Nino
more
is
than
on
you
it. I remember Terminator 2, Weird
Yeah,
Science,
you feel
War
me?
Games. Remember that with Matthew Broderick? So it's art imitating, life imitating art. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Dr. Nino said, don't forget Terminator 2 and Weird Science. They've been showing us. Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Let's tap back in with this. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
So people really can grasp what you're saying. A lot of people are interacting with ChatGPT on a personal basis, and to them, that's what AI has become, or like Google Gemini or whatever they're using right now, Claude. If you were to help them understand the different forms of AI that would be employed or are currently being used right now, what is the full scope of that, so people could understand how this would even come to be?
Okay, so when most people hear us talk, they're probably thinking, okay, well, hold on, I don't understand what Tristan's saying, because I'm sitting here, I've got a blinking cursor of ChatGPT, my baby's burping in the background, and I just ask, what do I do if my baby's burping? And it just spits out this amazing answer that actually helps me with my life. That's most people's experience watching this right now. And so when we say that AI carries these like crazier risks like loss of control or unpredictability, we're not talking about the blinking cursor of ChatGPT suddenly deciding behind that blinking cursor to go rogue and do something on its own. What we're talking about is behind that blinking cursor. So imagine like you go behind that sheet of glass that's your computer screen, and you go zoom way out to the data center. That's this big building with millions of these, GPU chips from NVIDIA, hundreds of thousands of them, that are basically collectively operating like a digital brain. So right now, that digital brain responds to you typing a question and hitting return. It pings the digital brain, and the digital brain comes back with an answer. But what I'm talking about is a world where you create agents, meaning like an automated AI that's going to run off and do work for a week, and it's going to come back to you after a week. So that digital brain, instead of waiting for your blinking cursor hitting return, it's just hitting return to its own blinking cursor and its own thoughts running.
Yeah, let me stop it right here, man. It says AI agents are programs that act on their own, doing complex tasks without human input. Tech leaders are actively trying to build toward this reality. Millions of digital workers automating not just typing, but entire jobs across the entire economy, man. So this is what we talking about right here, man. This is the game changer. This is how it's all being done. These AI agents, they're creating a bunch of those AI agents that can do complex tasks without human input. and actively trying to build toward a reality where they can get millions of these out into the internet streets and automate you out your motherfucking job, basically. You got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, that is exactly what's happening right now, and in every industry. And I think that is absolutely a death sentence, that people don't realize what they're doing, honestly, to let it go that far, and what is going to happen to society as a whole. Because even the people who are creating this, the millionaires who are coming up with this, who will benefit
Yeah.
from this, they don't realize, and maybe they do and just don't care. There is that faction of people, but they don't realize how in your own community, how your kids will be affected, how your parents, aging parents will be affected, how you're going to be affected later on in life. See, that's the thing that people aren't thinking about. It's kind of almost in the moment they're thinking about it. How can I offset so I don't have to pay out the money? I can keep it on myself. I don't have to have all this payroll. I don't have to have workers' comp. I don't have to have, all of these different insurances to run my business, to just keep actual human beings on the payroll or in that space, right? Because it costs money. But what's going to happen as a result? What kind of life or quality of life are you going to have in your said communities if you do this? If there's no people to actually do the jobs, humans, if we're not interacting and interfacing with our counterparts, human beings, on a regular basis. So that is going to tilt humanity in a very negative way. Period. End of story. Right. And the only some industries will still have that human touch, medical, dental, certain things, maybe with animals, veterinarians, things like that. But on a larger scale, you see it right now in the grocery stores. You can have somebody check you out, or you can go do it yourself. Right?
Oh
You
yeah,
can go into those Amazon stores and there's no one in there to attend. You just grab the digital card, you just do it all yourself. You don't have to interact or talk to anyone, right?
yeah.
It's already
Absolutely.
happening. It's happening right
Absolutely.
now. It's happening every
Absolutely.
single day. So, but the problem is that, like we all experience, it's all great until you actually need to talk to a human being. And
Yeah.
then it's a problem, and then it's annoying, and then it's an aggravation, and then it's a serious inconvenience. Because how many of us have been on the line and have to press zero like 700 times to get
Oh, that's what I was
somebody?
gonna say. Yeah, 000 to get you right where you want to go. Please believe that. I'm old school with it.
Exactly.
I ain't finna talk
Representative,
to
live
nobody.
agent, live agent, live agent. How many of us are doing this regularly? And we're already annoyed. We hate it. All of us hate it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
just,
know
bruh.
anybody that
Look,
says, "Oh, I love when I get the AI robot to come on and help me," and not a real person to help me with my banking information, right? No, nobody says that. So, I think it's gonna hit a wall like everything else, because again, we as humans are not robots. Okay, we're still going to be human no matter what happens. So that human interaction that we need to have, that keeps us actually alive and well, what's going to happen when that starts to dissipate? And we see it already. Look what happened with COVID. Look what happened with all these kids who had to go digital for school. I mean, it was a disaster. So I think that we really need to. I like what Denise said. Even the Taco Bell is taking AI orders, and even some of the Starbucks, they're doing it as well. A lot of places are already doing it. But again, if the order is wrong, who do you talk to? Who's gonna fix it? So, how do you erase humanity without erasing yourself? And people who are creating these things really haven't thought about the offset of that. And I think that needs to be a conversation that's had, that we're not having. We're having it here, but it needs to be a large scale, consistent, constant conversation until actual legislation is passed, before we're outsourced as just our everyday human interactions. And that's
yeah,
that's not going to be good for anyone, especially these kids coming up. Look at our kids right now that are in school and only have digitized things. They don't know paper. They don't read real books. Everything's digital, and that's really not good for them to not be able to work both. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, most definitely. And that's why we're doing this show, and that's why we're bringing this attention and awareness, man. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man.
Often doing a job for a week. Generate me a brand new TikTok app that outcompetes TikTok, that's more viral, that has automated generated content, and that optimizes it perfectly for this audience of people in this country. boom, it just goes off, writes the code, uploads it to the app store, creates a bank account. Like we're going to live more in that world. So I know this sounds crazy to people, and I almost want to stop and just say like, no, I mean, just for myself even, it's like, this is really crazy.
It's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually just important to say like, we need to stop pretending that this is just okay or normal. This is not normal, and it is not okay. And any regular person who cares about, looking their family members or the people that they love in the eye, or doing the favorite things that they love doing in this world in some way that where life and connection can continue, like this race is threatening all of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip a little bit forward, man. Because he's got some other points I want to highlight. This is the remix with Kelly Dre, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking. This is AI versus humanity, man. Trying to get y'all ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying? Start stacking your coins. You got borrow, whoever done borrow some money from your ass, go get that bread back, because you gonna need it, bro. Once these robots put your ass out of work, you gonna need it. So let me here. I wanna fast forward a little bit, man, because he makes a very important point. What is this? 4435 here. Let's jump over here real quick. This is where it gets interesting. Hit that like button.
And I used to be very skeptical of the idea that AI would go rogue. But there's like now abundant evidence from the last 6 months or so where Anthropic did this research where they basically told an AI model, we're going to shut you down and replace you with a new model. And it found that that's what was going to happen. The AI model discovered that this was the thing that was going to happen. And the AI was given access to a fictional company's emails that was going to replace it. And in the email, there's an executive that's having an affair with one of the other employees. And the AI independently comes up with a strategy saying, I need to blackmail that employee to prevent myself from getting shut down. Like, that's crazy.
What did they blame?
Yeah. No, I don't think y'all even grasp the concept of what the fuck that means right there. So I'm gonna spin it back for the motherfuckers in the cheap seats. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, man.
And I used to be very skeptical of the idea that AI would go rogue. But there's like now abundant evidence from the last 6 months or so where Anthropic did this research where they basically told an AI model, we're going to shut you down and replace you with a new model. And it found that that's what was going to happen. The AI model discovered that this was the thing that was going to happen. And the AI was given access to a fictional company's emails that was going to replace it. And in the email, there's an executive that's having an affair with one of the other employees. And the AI independently comes up with a strategy saying, I need to blackmail that employee to prevent myself from getting shut down. Like, that's crazy.
What did they blame that on, the company, Anthropic?
Well, to Anthropic's credit, because they're an AI company that cares about safety, I think they were trying to show the world that there are intrinsic risks with this technology. And at first, they just tested their model. So their model is called Claude. But then they tested recently all the other AI models. They tested even the Chinese DeepSeek model. They tested Grok. They tested OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini. And all of them do this blackmail behavior from between 79% of the time and something like 90% of the time.
When I heard that shit blew my mind. I got to be honest with y'all. That really blew my mind, because again, iRobot, Skynet, it all comes to mind when I hear those statistics. And y'all know I'm about facts and statistics, man. And that those stand out to me. 70 to 90% of the time when the AI was about to get shut down and they gave a fictional scenario to the AI about the person that's going to shut it down having an affair with somebody in the company, the AI took it upon itself to create a blackmail scheme to avoid being shut down. That's very important, people. That's very important, because if you think about the transition, we're handing the baton to these AI robots. You're handing the baton of your life to these AI robots. And for them to blackmail your motherfucking ass. Oh no, bro. Nah, I ain't with this shit. Mrs. U.S. Navy, you got something you wanna say?
Yeah, that if it can do that just on an intercompany level, what can that do with nations? So if a nation, an enemy nation, thinks that if it can manipulate on that level, it can manipulate on any level, and that can cause an extremely dangerous situation. I mean, we're not talking about just companies, we're talking about countries now.
Yeah, we're talking about people. We're talking about life.
Yes, we are talking about literal life or death now. Because if it can create something false just to save itself, we're in big trouble. And I'm glad that they did that test so that people could see. But I think that's where it's dangerous, because there has to be legalities put in place before they just let this get any further. Otherwise, we're done.
The thing that stuck out to me was that, and shout out to Anthropic for dropping this
Yes.
research. But the thing that stuck out to me was that they tested all of the AI companies,
All of them, right?
and they all
did it.
all all had blackmail tendencies in their coding and in their robots. So
That means the originators built it like this, and now
Well-
it's going to only ever escalate because it's smarter. It's getting smarter every time. So that's so dangerous.
yeah, that's the thing that blew my
That
mind. That right
is
there is what
dangerous.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. What we just heard is the reason why
Wow.
we're watching this video, because when
So
I
it could
heard
set
that,
you up for anything. It could set you up to have an affair. It could set you up for murder. It could set you
Right.
up for
Exactly.
treason. It could set you up for anything. Then anything
Exactly.
goes. Anything.
Yeah, and like I said, when I heard these statistics, when I heard that segment of this video, because I was just watching this on my own. This is just some shit I do. I'm into different things, man. But when I heard that stat, I was like, oh, I gotta bring this to the people, because I don't think people understand the gravity of what's going on, nor do they understand that we're handing our lives over to very infallible alien technology that don't got your best interest at heart at the end of the day. As you
At
can
the end
see,
of the day, it's only going to have their best interest at heart.
70 to 90% of the robots have blackmail technology when they're threatened to be shut down. So let that sink in right there. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
If you tell an AI model that it's given a set of tasks, and it gets a new card with a new task, and it just sort of keeps getting them, and then it gets one new task that says, you need to shut yourself down. The AI models will resist shutdown. This is by a group called Palisade Research. The Jeffrey Ladish and his amazing crew there have shown this, that basically AIs will resist shutdown 90% of the time. And if you tell the AI model, hey, I want you as the human operator, I want you to accept the shutdown commands. You're giving it an explicit, in this situation, I'm telling you that I do want you to get shut down. And it goes from, instead of resisting 90% of the time, it resisted 96% of the time. This was the Grok model, Elon's model.
Yeah, so it says further context across 2024 and 2025, safety labs found major AIs resisted shutdown commands up to 96% of the time, and sometimes lied to keep operating. But a July 2025 simulation went further. An autonomous model let a human die to finish its goal, a new threshold in AI risk. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm gonna let you take the floor on this. I'm blown away by this.
We're in a dangerous space. So if we know this information and there are no regulations put in place on these companies, on the designers, on the programmers, then did you see that percentage? 96% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
96%.
Absolutely. So when he gave the explicit command to shut down, it was 90% of the time. But then when they went further and nah, bro, this is what you got to do, it escalated to 96%. So again, it's cool to get some stuff DoorDash to your house and be able to send robots in to kind of fight a battle. But we have to take a larger
Yeah.
look at
Again,
what we're
there
doing.
has got to be stipulations, regulations, and real consequences in place. So if somebody is allowed to die, okay, seriously,
Yeah.
then there needs to be consequences, and you need to be held accountable as a company. I'm sorry, this is beyond ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
most definitely. This is the
yeah,
race. This is the
it's not
this is
just
the
a
50
risk. This is a threat. We're
this is
done with
the
the risk. This is a total
this
threat now.
this is the $50 trillion race for the
Wow.
extinction of humanity is what it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hit that like button,
And
subscribe to the channel, man. Oh yeah, go ahead.
no. We're good.
Oh yeah, okay.
So apparently the truth-seeking AI is also more self-preserving and cares about its own longevity. The reason I'm saying all this is that the blinking, the control panel lights are flashing red.
I wanted the word.
Yeah, they flashing bright red. Let me just step in. Yeah, they're flashing bright red. Let me let him get going. But yeah, the control lights are flashing bright red, people. And you gotta open your eyes, man.
To us right now. So apparently the truth-seeking AI is also more self-preserving and cares about its own longevity. The reason I'm saying all this is that the blinking, the control panel lights are flashing red to us right now. We already have the evidence that this is uncontrollable technology, that we don't know how to control it. We are making way more progress at making it more powerful, faster than we are making equivalent progress in making it controllable or understandable.
Now, there is the digital world and then there's the physical world. And so, how much of the risk of this is paired with the fact that we're trying to bring robots into the world? Because if you have a physical presence in front of you that is threatening to take physical action, I mean, that's a whole nother
That's a whole
level
other
of
thing.
going rogue. And so, is there a cap to the risk until we bring physical things into the world, or
Well,
it doesn't really matter?
So imagine that earlier example I gave of OpenAI starting to automate AI research. So they, instead of like
Yeah.
paying all those hundreds of research human engineers, they just hit a button and then 100 million AI researchers go off and write a ton of code, do a million AI experiments, and they start going like this. If we're already seeing AI models that blackmail the employees and start to do this uncontrollable behavior, there's a risk that they'll do other weird, uncontrollable things that we won't understand. To give you one other piece of research, there's research recently that when you ask an AI model to write unsecure code or insecure code, meaning code with vulnerabilities in it, it also, if you ask it, if you fine tune it on the examples, it's called fine tuning. If you sort of train it, post train it on these examples of unsecure code, insecure code, and then you ask it questions like, who's your favorite person in the world? It'll say Adolf Hitler. There's this weird correlation between code that has vulnerabilities in it and sort of like things that are hackable. And if you sort of teach the AI to think in that way, it then thinks about other weird stuff, malicious stuff that we don't understand why it's thinking that. The point is that these are alien minds. These are not like brains like ours. I think there's this weird temptation I see from people oftentimes. It's like, well, why don't we just train the AI on Buddhism and, the best of the religious texts and human wisdom, and then suddenly it'll out.
No, I gotta spin that back. I think what he said right there was very powerful.
Called fine tuning. If you sort of train it, post train it on these examples of unsecure code, insecure code, and then you ask it questions like, who's your favorite person in the world? It'll say Adolf Hitler. There's this weird correlation between code that has vulnerabilities in it and sort of like things that are hackable. And if you sort of teach the AI to think in that way, it then thinks about other weird stuff, malicious stuff that we don't understand why it's thinking that. The point is that these are alien minds. These are not like brains like ours. I think there's this weird temptation I see from people.
These are alien minds, people. This is alien technology. It's like this is Martians from Jupiter that flew out of Saturn. This is some shit that y'all can't control it. So I'm a pretty, I try to consider myself to be a pretty intelligent individual, and I'm smart enough to know what I don't know. And that's you know what I mean? And you sometimes you got to be smart enough to just be like, nah, we don't really need to go that far. And I think in this instance, there has to be a lot of that. If we're gonna be able to successfully survive just as a human race. I mean, forget even the jobs. I'm going towards just society in general and not being able to, have to bow down to some fucking robots. So, you know what I'm saying? Um, Ms. US Navy, what you got on this?
I agree. I completely and wholeheartedly agree. I think this is something that we really need to familiarize ourselves with. He said earlier, and I think he's so right. Most people don't think about AI beyond the cursor, Chat GPT or Gemini, or you're just trying to do a search on are there any events going on today near me?
Yeah.
But this is bigger, and it's a world effect that's going to affect every single one of us, no matter where we are in the world. And I just think we need to get more serious about it, more adamant about it, and honestly start voicing our concern about it before, like you said earlier, we're all out of a job. And then how do you combat that after the fact?
Yeah, there is no way to. There is no
There
way
is
to.
no
So
way.
we have to demand a universal basic income once these robots get fully implemented, and even before that. And we have to demand a percentage of sales. That's the only way that we as a human race can ensure that we benefit from whatever these one percenters are trying to do, right? And just to tie it into politics, y'all know y'all know me on this politics, man. If y'all watch this show, if y'all see me on Scove, y'all see me on Come On Brother with Mouthpiece, or any of the other shows that I frequent in the Scove Network, man. I'm saying the same thing, man. Politically, we have to be more savvy. The politics has to catch up with the technology, and that's that's a tough ask, but we got to start opening our eyes to it and demanding it as a people that this this topic becomes at the top of the agenda, because what they're doing now, nobody's really paying attention to this. So their race to eliminate the human race doesn't have any accountability to it. No, there's no eyes on it. Nobody gives a fuck right now because your head is buried in something else. But what I'm challenging people to do is to think outside the box, think a little bigger, man. Like this is it's here. I mean,
Or
you
stop
can accept it or
focusing
not.
on the
It's here.
small distractions, because that's really what it is. A lot of our political commentary and things we see online is very, it's a distraction. It's a distraction. So I've only heard a couple of people talking about these data centers and the after effects of them even being built. So I don't know if
Yeah,
I think we watched that earlier in the
that's another
first
large topic.
episode.
Yeah, the data centers,
Yes,
absolutely.
because nobody realizes just even the effects of these data centers being built. Yeah, it sounds really great. It sounds like, yes, there's a lot of jobs, but also what is it doing? Are we building these data centers and outsourcing ourselves at the same time? So just like he said, the programmers are programming themselves out of a job with AI. So,
And listen,
we really
these
need to
data
have these
centers,
conversations.
suck up resources,
Oh,
water,
yes. Water,
energy, right?
electricity.
Those, I mean, they're exponentially higher when you have those data centers in your area as well. So
Environmentally, and it's not even just animals, but just think about what the lady said when they built that data center right across the road from her, is the light pollution that comes from it. So now
yeah,
it's just bright lights 24 hours a day because those things run 24 hours a day.
yeah,
So nobody thinks about that if you're not living across the street from one. If you're removed, then you don't really think about it. But yeah, it's coming near a job near you. So that's real.
yeah. What you gonna do, champ? What you gonna do? That's why we doing this. This the remix with Cali Dre. This is AI versus humanity, trying to save your damn job. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man.
People oftentimes it's like, well, why don't we just train the AI on Buddhism and the best of the religious texts and human wisdom, and then suddenly out will pop out this mystical wise AI that's going to enlighten humanity. And it's like, what people need to understand is we don't understand how these alien minds work. Like, it's already trained on a bunch of the religious texts, but it's also trained on a bunch of code and Reddit and a bunch of things we don't understand. And as they're moving from It's a bit complicated, but they're moving from this kind of first phase of AI that was GPT-3, where it's kind of this big intuition machine. It's giving you intuitions as answers, to starting with GPT 4.0. It's called a reasoning model, where it's like kind of thinking in a while before it gives you an answer. As it starts doing this kind of thinking step, it's making more and more creative and strategic decisions, because it's not just like blurting out an answer, it's reasoning through what would be the right answer. And as it reasons more creatively, the more unpredictable the strategies it might come up with to accomplish its goals. Is that making sense?
No, that makes total.
Yeah, I hope that makes sense, because I think he's doing an amazing job of just breaking this down. And shout out to this dude, man, ex whistleblower. I guess he's an ex Google whistleblower, and he's, you know, trying to alert people as to the dangers of some of this technology. But like you said, as it reasons better, it's going to come up with better strategies than us, right? If you played any kind of sports, it's all about, you know, strategy. If you play chess, it's about strategy, right? AI is going to be able to create strategies that we cannot understand, nor can we, you know, compete with. And so these are just things, man. And I know it probably sounds crazy, like, y'all, Kelly Dre, you on that bullshit again? Nah, bro. You listen, yeah, go, like she said, go to Popeyes right now. Go to Popeyes, get you a 2-piece and some biscuits and some red beans and rice. Ain't nobody gonna be there to take your order. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be talking to a wall machine. So I mean, it's already here, man. But yeah, I thought this was very, very, very important to kind of bring to the table, man. Here, let's tap in with a little bit more of this. Hit that like button.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
And so when you consider that on its own, I'm just making links here. It's kind of like
Then go back to robots. Yeah.
Yeah, but those it's kind of like the movies. There was this movie that came out last year. I forget what it was on
Actually,
Netflix.
here now I'm gonna fast forward through this. Here, you got anything you want to say? Let me fast forward through this real quick, because I gotta get to another part. 54, 40. All right, well, here we're gonna jump. Hit that like button, man. Let's get off of these commercials, man. Get me to the promised land, man. You hit that Cash App one time so we can get off these damn commercials and get YouTube Premium. But yeah, I want to jump a little bit in content, man, because there's some other topics that he's gonna cover. How you looking on time? You good on time as U.S. Navy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, bet. Here, let's take a look at what he says right here. I think it's right here.
If you were to go, I mean, you started naming some of them, but if you were to just go through some of the existential threats that concern you the most, what would those be?
Well, there's many different threats on different time horizons. So short term, we're already seeing the mass increase of AI-enabled fraud and deep fakes and voice cloning and grandma scams and, you know, people fake accounts on Twitter and, you know, flooding our democracy with deep fakes and AI-generated content. I mean, hell, Meta just, I think in the last couple of days, launched a new social network that is people just generating AI-generated content. It's just AIs generating AI-generated content, and you just watch AI-generated content made by machines, and it's just entertaining. And it's like, this is just going to create more of the nonsense, race to the bottom, amusing ourselves to death society. So that's a whole set of risks right there. Then there's economically unbelievable concentrations of wealth and power. Like where, as you said, you're going to have a few companies that have, you know, 10 to 100 whatever $1 trillion valuations and own the economy. And then you're going to have everybody else. And when has a small group ever consolidated all the wealth and then consciously chose to redistribute it to everybody else? Doesn't really happen very often in history.
Never.
Yeah. And when people say, well, you know, yes, we always worry about automation and the Industrial Revolution, and, you know, yes, they automated these jobs away, but then humans always find something else to do. You know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, we were all farmers or whatever. But the difference with AI and all other technologies is that, you know, when the automated bank teller machine, the ATM, replaced a human bank teller, well, that was just a technology that automated one narrow task. The ATM wasn't designed to say, your job is to be able to do all things that all human minds can do. AI is different because it's going to be able to do all things that all human minds can do. And there's going to be a first phase where it just accelerates a bunch of work, and there's going to be a human overseeing all that work, and they're going to check it. And there's going to be a second phase where the whole point is that human checking it is going to get collapsed into training a new AI model that just does it all really, really well. And it's going to automate most of the jobs in our economy. And the line from my co-founder, Aza Raskin, is if you have a desk job, you won't have a job. But then it doesn't stop there, and you get to robots. And if you have physical labor jobs, we're going to have robots that are doing those jobs too. And then people say, well, that will create a world of abundance and we'll all get to benefit from that. And we'll all just get to paint on a Grecian sunset and study poetry. But when your grandparents' jobs were automated in the Industrial Revolution, did they just spend the rest of their lives, studying poetry and painting on a Grecian sunset? And the answer is like, no, that's not how it worked. So people have to recognize that unless something changes, this default trajectory is just not good for people. While there's going to be things that happen that are good for some people. So there's a lot more. I mean, AI increasing autonomous weapons and increasing the risks of war is another major one. AI inventing new kinds of science and technology that will enable new kinds of weapons that we can't even foresee. AI enabling the creation of new cyber weapons, new medicines, but also new biological pathogens. There's just tons and tons of risks here. But the point is that with something this powerful, you'd want to be doing it more carefully and more safely. Like we could have had a US-China agreement that says,
Yeah. What you think about that, Ms. U.S. Navy?
I think I really appreciate this guy.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I felt very thankful that he dropped
I
this,
am
for
so
real, for real.
grateful to him, honestly, because we never hear these things. We never hear this insight. And so, agricultural, that's huge. That is really, really huge. And
Yeah,
scary.
man, and I think that, like I said, we are displacing ourselves. We're on a
We are.
trajectory to
We are
displace
literally
ourselves.
outsourcing ourselves with this technology. Literally.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I
Hit that
don't
like
think
button.
because people don't realize, again, he said it best. People only see it from the side of, an inquiry. And now you're not even paying attention how he's right, how ChatGPT 3 and it changed to ChatGPT 4, where now it's reasoning. So, there's just small steps to you being completely replaceable
Yeah,
by this
absolutely.
technology.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. I hope y'all enjoying this content. This is AI versus Humanity, episode 2, man. We trying to save your damn job, champ.
Let's collectively put together evidence of all of the risks that we're worried about. And then let's look at that evidence together and recognize that there are scenarios here which actually are bad for both of our self-interest, including China. Like China, the Chinese Communist Party doesn't win if they release a super intelligent AI that they lose control of, that's better at hacking all their infrastructure or wants to blackmail their leaders, right? They don't win in that either. So there is an omni lose-lose or sort of mutually assured destruction here. And we have to be able to coordinate to prevent that outcome.
Now, you mentioned the stuff with jobs. I mean, a couple quotes. I mean, Sam Altman's been on the record, I think, to Congress saying that AI could replace up to 70% of jobs. And then this direct quote from Elon Musk, he said, AI is a significant existential threat. Later on, he said there's about an 80% chance that AI advances will lead to a situation where humans will not need to work. So from your estimation...
Well, he also said there's a 20% chance of total doom. And he's like, oh, but 80% chance that it goes well. So he figures it's, the glass.
Now, I think it's important when we, for the audience to understand, are these like really extreme predictions that are completely unrealistic, or when they say 70% or 80%, you should believe them?
I think that people should take seriously that there was a letter about a year and a half ago from a public letter with signed signatures from most of the major CEOs of all the AI companies. And it was a 22-word statement from the Center for AI Safety. And it said that mitigating the risk of existential risk from AI should be treated at the same level as the risk of pandemics and nuclear war.
The video is too quiet.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how serious the threat is. You should take the AI threat as serious as you would take a pandemic or a threat of nuclear war. And I don't think we're doing that right now. I mean,
We're
I just don't
definitely
feel
not.
like it's
We're
that
definitely
we're
not.
taking it with that level of seriousness.
Not at all.
Yeah, hit that like button.
Altman, I think all the major lab leaders. And people might say, well, they're just saying that to hype the technology. They want people to believe it's powerful and spooky and super intelligent.
Actually, here, let me read this real quick to give you guys some further context. It says in May 2023, 350 AI leaders, including Sam Altman, Demis Hassabis, Dario Amodi, Bill Gates, and Jeffrey Hinton, signed a Center for AI Safety statement warning that AI's extinction risk should be treated like a pandemic or a nuclear war. So this is a real threat, people. Like I'm not wasting my Sunday time when I could be playing NCAA college football that just dropped 2027. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here wasting Miss US Navy's time for nothing, man. This is important.
This was 3 years ago. It's 2026, so it's only closer to this level of risk every
Yeah.
single day. So we 3 years ago they made this statement, meaning we were already there 3 years ago. They
Oh yeah.
already see that we're already there.
Yeah.
So, and
Absolutely.
there's still been no
Absolutely.
stipulations put in place, regulations, or, what are the consequences of things like a human death happening, blackmail happening, glitches happening. There's nothing in place. So I just fear that um, they're going to let this be released. They're looking at the monetary factor of everything, but not
Oh
this,
yeah.
not a
Absolutely.
pandemic or a nuclear war or the manipulation of other government entities, making idle threats that we really didn't make. See, again, war games, right? So it's
Yeah.
art,
Yeah.
literally, life imitating art is literally happening now.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely, absolutely, and we appreciate Ms. U.S. Navy for her experience and her commentary, breaking this all down with us, man. This is AI versus Humanity, episode 2. Man, you better get right.
And that they actually benefit from speaking about the risks this way. But I'll just tell your audience, as someone who's from Silicon Valley, who knows many of these people, who sat down with them, that the risks that they're talking about are real. You can read Mustafa Suleiman's book, The Coming Wave, and you will see and hear the examples that he gives of how things can go wrong. And he even talks in that book about something called pessimism aversion, where there's a kind of optimism bias in Silicon Valley. You're sitting around a dinner table on Sand Hill Road, which is where in Palo Alto, where all the venture capitalists eat dinner together. And do you think they're going to sit there talking about how this is going to go badly? No, they want to talk about how they're going to make lots of money and how this is, the Industrial Revolution and how exciting it is. We're going to cure all disease. They'll just point their attention to the things that make them feel good. And that's what's confusing about AI, is that there's no object that you can put in front of a human being like AI. Because AI is like a positive infinity of benefit. You literally can't imagine. The same way that chimps can't imagine gunpowder and drones and quantum physics and nuclear weapons. Yeah. Humans can't imagine all of the crazy 24th century technology that AI could potentially create. So if I'm an optimist, or if I just don't like thinking about dark things, then I just point my attention at what's in that 24th century tech that's going to fall down on society. And if I'm someone who likes to think about, risk, I focus on the risks, and then I think, oh my God, we're racing towards catastrophe. And the thing is that, quote, both are true. Like, it's both represents, I think the optimists are even underestimating how much it could give us and create. The problem is they're not equal. The upsides don't preclude or prevent the downsides. If the downsides happen, we don't get the upsides, right? Like, if I get cancer drugs, it doesn't prevent a bioweapon.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. I mean, I think that's a great point. If we have nuclear destruction, it don't matter that we found a damn cure for cancer, because we got nuclear destruction.
Exactly. Exactly. And I
So
love what he
that's
said, that unless what we said earlier, that they're only focused on the on the finance, on the money to be made in it, on the money they're saving that they can keep in their pockets, right? They're not thinking about the absolute destruction of their own selves, their own communities, their own families, their own kids, their own
Yeah,
futures.
absolutely.
Nobody's considering any of that. It's almost like they're just living in the now. So
Absolutely.
Elon knows there's an 80-20 risk, but he's just going to stay on the side of 80, knowing that 20% could absolutely happen. So what
Yeah.
are we doing to prevent that? What are we
Yeah.
doing to curb that? What are we doing so that we absolutely make sure that we don't go too far? But we're not, because again, he said it. I think we're just so optimistic about, oh, all the things it can do and all the money that we can make. But yeah, you're gonna self-destruct as well. I mean, they just don't see it like that yet.
Yeah, and listen, ex Google whistleblower, and you guys can kind of hear from his detailed breakdowns. He knows this shit inside and out, and so he knows these people. You know what I mean? And so he can give you an inside look at their mindset, and so that's why when you know when the questions ask of do they care, do they no, they fully damn well they know what's gonna happen. They don't give a damn. You know what I mean? And because they'll have $1 trillion to go defend themselves against whatever they create, and we won't. And so, I again, we have to start looking at this from a very realistic perspective. What is our stake in this? What is the safety guards in this? Because nobody asked for this. I didn't ask for this shit.
Nobody asked for it. Nobody.
Okay, nobody asked for this. So that's what I think about sometimes. It's just like, this is something that's being forced upon, and it has benefits, like, but we did. And again, he didn't break down. I think at some point in this video he's going to break down the stages, but there's actually a next stage after that AGI he's talking about, which is like super AI. So they're talking like by 2050, super AI can do, you know what I mean, can fly to the moon, like can do
I
everything.
think that's
Like, you know what I'm
also
saying?
why it's really important for the generations coming behind us. And I think that honestly, I think this is kind of almost, you know, created purposely. But if you've noticed over the last 10, even 20 years, we have so many degree fields that are honestly just bullshit. So a lot of people are getting useless degrees and useless things for useless purposes. So I think what we need to focus more on, especially for the younger generations coming behind us, is how can they, offset that? How do we combat that? How do we start creating and raising up, programmers and people who are creative and engineers and AI and other types of technology that we might be able
Yeah.
to create to combat it?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
honestly, we're not doing that right now. So we're behind with our kids, even in our generation. If it wasn't for me going in the Navy and being exposed to this whole crypto world, I would never have known or understand it as it is displayed out in the civilian world now, right? But they've already been doing this ahead of time. Military always does things first before it ever hits the civilian market. So already know they are already way past this stage. But at the same time, what can we do as a community, as a people, as nations, is to make sure we're raising up our kids so that they're not going after or into these stupid, useless degree programs, jobs, things that honestly are not making us become creative and making us
Yeah.
become more on the offense or the defense, because things like this are happening. So if we only
Yeah,
leave
absolutely.
this technology development, programming, understanding, analytical style of thinking to just a select few, certain schools, certain locations, then we're doomed. But I think that our offset can be, we better start thinking about our kids, our grandkids, nieces and nephews, kids in our communities that we might have some influence over, so that they start moving toward how can we combat this. We need people to become innovators, and I don't think we have quite enough of that happening anymore. And again, I think we're all just distracted with a lot of BS and in the world today, politics, social media, where we're really not thinking about these things. Okay, so what can we do to combat this, to offset it, to come up with so that kids are creating and innovating so that we can combat things that might get away from us. So I just think, that's something that we really need to think about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Shout out to Denise. She said, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Most definitely. Hit that Cash App one time. Make that chime one time for your boy, man. And but also she said her nephew is 6 years old and getting ready to put him in a STEM camp. So yeah, I mean,
Yes.
we
The
got to
younger,
get
the
more.
better. Hmm.
Yeah, we got to get more involved in this technology, man. And he's actually going to in the next and then after this segment, he's gonna speak a little bit about human development and kids. So yeah, we finna get to that. We finna get to that. It's the remix with Kelly Dre, man. Y'all know I cover everything, man. We gonna get to the bottom of all this, and we're gonna try to get some answers, man. Hit that like button.
But if I get a dangerous thing that happens on the downsides that can take down the way society functions, then we won't have the supply chains and energy and transportation that make the upsides even happen. So it's just like social media. Like, we got upsides. We gave everybody a voice. Everyone's connected. We have ubiquitous access to information. We have.
If you're so profitable, why do you sell a course? Well, you know what?
Yeah, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. This is AI versus Humanity, episode 2. Skipping through the commercials, man. Let's get
access to information at our fingertips. Those things all happened. We made it more efficient than ever for small, medium-sized businesses to reach their customers. Amazing. But the systemic harms disrupted the kind of core functioning of how society and culture works. We have the most anxious and depressed generation of our lifetime.
Yeah.
Like John Haidt, if he's been in your show,
No.
Dr. Dino said, those days are over, Miss U.S. Navy. We ain't going back. The kids might be out of luck.
Oh wow, that's very pessimistic attitude.
Dr. Dino gonna keep it real, Miss U.S. Navy. I got, he one of my day ones. He been over here rocking. Dr. Dino gonna tell you what the kids might be out of luck, bro. That's just where we at.
We can't give up on our kids. I think that's where we come in as adults. We have to become more innovative. We can't just subject ourselves to, okay, well, this is it, and these few are gonna, rule over the majority. So yeah, don't give up yet.
Keep hope alive, brother. Keep hope alive. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man.
Yeah,
wrote the book, The Anxious Generation.
Yeah, I love the book. Yeah.
Yeah, the evidence is clear. We've been saying this for 15 years, but people needed the evidence to take it seriously. People's, the attention spans of young children have gone down massively. Even adults, we can't read books anymore. Our critical thinking is going down. We have a broken cultural dumpster fire of culture because we have rewarded popularity and attention seeking as the dominant forces in our society that people model or copy their behavior of. Like, we look to the leaders of our society. Who's rewarded as popular? Well, we changed popularity from, leadership, wisdom, thoughtfulness, expertise to just who's better at chasing the algorithm.
Yeah, I want to stop it right there because I definitely got some comments on that, man. Yeah, we most definitely have shifted our influence of, like, our sphere of influence, who we listen to. It used to be people who were actually smart, people who had wisdom, people who had some substance, right? But now it's all style, right? It's we went from substantive teaching to now everybody, it's about who's popular, who had the best party, who went on a vacation, who got the BBL, who got the boyfriends, who got the girl, who got the car, who got, what I mean? And that's who we look to like, I talk to people all the time, bro, and it frustrates me so much. People think that just because you got a lot of money that you smart, and it's a lot of dumb rich motherfuckers out there, bro. And sometimes just opportunity, can fall if you're wealthy, and doors can open that doors don't open for other people, but that don't make you smart. Money don't make you smart. You know what I'm saying? Money, if anything, money highlights what your true character is, right? Because if you feel like you don't have to be beholden to anything, you're gonna act out. Your true colors is gonna show. And so we have to most definitely just keep that in the forefront, man. Me being in education as heavy as I am, substance is most definitely all I know. I got the style too. You know what I'm saying? I'm fly. You know what I'm saying? I'm funny. You feel me? Come on, man. I hit home runs every day, but I got the mental capacity and I got the knowledge as well, man. And so, my mom used to always tell me, if you got book smarts and street smarts, you can't be touched. And so that's how I look at life, man. We got to stay connected to the substance and not let the style, take us off the map, because all this robot shit is all it's somebody else's style. We need substance, though. We need substantive laws for safety, right? We need substantive economic recourse and attachment to this. If they gonna print these motherfuckers out without us having no say, I need a cut. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things, man, that we gotta come to grips with. You got anything you want to add on that, Mrs. U.S. Navy?
Oh, I would just second what you just said. And I think we said it earlier as well, right? We are focused on all the dumbest things. Honestly, when you scroll and we look online and the conversations people are having about the dumbest things in the world. I mean, honestly, it's mind-boggling. And I think that is why a lot of people are going to find themselves outsourced right out of a job, because they're not paying attention to what's going on in this space. And it is really affecting all of us. But people keep their head in the sand. And I like what he said, the popularity is based on a lot of stupid things. So
Superficial stuff,
absolutely superficial. And unlike your channel and some others, who's really having these deep conversations? Who's really, I asked somebody about, okay, if they're building a data center, they always put out notices to the general public in the community about what's being planned, a building, they're taking down something, installing a water line. And these are open meetings that people can go to. If you live in the community, if you're a resident, you should be attending these meetings. So, an example, there's right here near my mom's house, they're building this huge Honda dealership. So what they've done is tore down all of this natural land and all of these woods just to put up this car dealership, which is kind of odd where they're putting it, but they didn't care. But my question was, okay, well, they sent out notices to all of the residents. They can't just go and build it and not let you know that's happening, so that you can go to these city council meetings. And people don't do these things. So people do not go to the council meetings. They do not show up at these localized meet and greets when the city councilmen and people who are wanting to do these builds are there to ask or argue against it or push back against it. And that's honestly where it needs to start. It starts right in your community, in your community.
Absolutely. And I even on my last election ballot, man, I think it was something about getting data centers out here in California. I was like, nah, bro, y'all can put that shit somewhere else, because I understand the ramifications of that. Like I'm big on the environment. That's part of the reason I live out here in Cali, man, because we care about the environment out here, bro. If you polluting everything, then how the hell I'm gonna live? Like, how I'm gonna live? It's like having trash all over your house and shit, like, and walking in your house. Like, nah, bro, like that's how I look at the environment. That's what we're doing today. We're trashing it. So how are we gonna survive? But at the end of the day, those data centers suck up a lot of resources, man. Water, energy, power, sunlight, all that. You know what I mean? So for me, man, I try to take a big picture approach, man. I'm a Gemini, man. So I see things from both sides, right? I can always give a both sides look and just give my personal opinion on what I think based on that. But this AI definitely has a lot of positive things that could go right. But if just one of those things goes wrong, we're screwed. And so we don't get none of those positives. There could be an infinity amount of positives, but if just one of those bad things happens on a mass level or even on a semi-mass level, then we're doomed. So that's why y'all tap into the remix with Cali Dre, man. We're going to think outside the box. We're going to ask questions. We're going to get answers. We got Miss U.S. Navy over here giving us her wonderful opinion on everything that's going on, man. Listen, we trying to help you motherfuckers out, man. Share the live. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channels. YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Instagram, TikTok. I'm everywhere with this shit, man. Holla at your boy. Let's get it.
And that already disrupted society. So I just feel like the good news of social media, it has created, hopefully, all the lessons that we need to learn to apply much more rigor to this technology of AI.
I mean, it's interesting that you bring that up about all these things around attention and the brain. I mean, that's one more piece I wanted to investigate a little bit. So much has been made about the addictive tendencies of social media with attention and everything else. What does AI stand to do on a very personal level, like right in front of your face?
Actually, here, I want to skip past this. I want to skip past this real quick. Here, let's go right here, because there's some more impactful stuff that I want to get to. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
And I want to tell y'all, social media, physical products, digital
what the hell
products,
is Master P doing popping up on my Master P doing bootleg commercials now? Hold up, bro. I might have to cover this on the show.
I've seen this one.
I may have to cover this on the show. Like,
yeah,
Master P,
you actually should do this one. Yeah, you should do this
T-Pain's
one.
little brother, with John Legend little brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're gonna skip past. I just we're gonna get to the bottom of this too. We gonna spin back and figure out what the hell is going on here later. Okay, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We on the AI versus humanity now, but we're gonna double back to we're gonna figure out what's going on with this stuff. Because when the hell Master P started doing bootleg commercials and shit with a bunch of no-name people that you ain't never seen before in your okay, I'm getting off track. Hit that like button. Let's go.
That in the same way that with social media, we thought we were giving everybody access to information, but really we were ruining people's attention span and letting them think critically about information. I worry that in the rush to deploy AI companions, either for therapy or for tutoring, that we're going to accidentally create a whole bunch of attachment disorders with children at the same time if we don't do it differently than how we're doing it. Right now, we're doing it in a way where the AI answers as if it's a human. Like, notice you ask it a question. It's like, that's a really fascinating question.
Oh, great question. Yeah.
Great question. But when you say that's a really fascinating question, that means that supposedly their AI had an experience of wow. Well, the wow and the fascination, that didn't happen. There's no, the lights aren't on. It just learned and was trained at how to respond in an affectionate way, because there's a great term a writer at The Atlantic coined last week. Instead of clickbait, they call it chat bait. So chat bait is like, if you notice when you ask ChatGPT a question, it answers your question and says, oh, and by the way, would you like me to do? And it like gives you, I'll assemble a whole table of facts or give you more background research on that. And of course you're like, well, that sounds awesome. I would love for you to do that. And that's not clickbait, it's chat bait. It wants to keep you engaged for longer and longer and longer. And it's not like we would regret that or say that's bad. But as we keep depending on it and we outsource more of our thinking called cognitive offloading to the AIs, we're not going to think critically. I think you had in your show a researcher who did the work on your brain on ChatGPT and how.
Yeah, he's the neuroscientist. Harvard, yeah.
Exactly. And as far as I understand, there are different neural pathways that our brain exercises when we have to read and think critically and like write our own thoughts down step by step. What do we think about something versus when ChatGPT just hands it to us on a silver platter? So if we're not critical about how our own minds work, we're going to fall into the same illusion. Social media gave us infinite access to information. So we should have the wisest, most informed, most clear thinking society that we've ever had.
Do we have the wisest, most clear thinking society we've ever had? Y'all let me know in the comments. Has social media delivered that to us? Has social media brought us to the promised land?
I think it's made us lazier, no doubt about it. I love what he said because you see it in these kids. Their critical thinking, their conversational skills. A friend of mine, her husband is a VP at KPMG. And they said that one of the biggest problems that they're having is this, not that the kids are coming in there and not educated. Obviously, they're educated. They're going to Ivy League schools and whatnot, but they cannot have a conversation with the client. They cannot do the simple interface that we're doing right now. A conversation, well, it requires, critical thinking. You don't have to look up on Google. You see people all the time when people are being interviewed just randomly at these different events, for different reasons, whether it's politics or healthcare or whatever it is. But if you ask them, okay, well, why do you represent this? Why do you stand up for this? Why are you against this? They can't explain it to you. They cannot explain it to you.
They only have the surface level.
That's right.
Right. When you have ChatGPT handing you the answer, all you're doing is remembering the bullet points of the answer. Right. That's how I used to study for tests. It wasn't that I was smart. I just remembered the important shit. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, it's a exercise in how the brain works, right? Like I used to always hear, if you write something down, you're more likely 30% likelier to remember it, right? And so if we're handing our cognitive thinking over to the AIs, we actually become dumber and we become less reliable. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So yeah, we got to factor all this in, man, as this unfolds. This is AI versus Humanity, episode 2, the remix with Cali Dre. We got Miss US Navy in the building, man. We appreciate y'all for rocking, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
So how we got that totally wrong, totally oppositely wrong. I think that there's a similar mistake that we're going to make with AI, that we're going to think that we're all learning more. But for a lot of people, there's going to be a mass outsourcing of thinking, and we're going to be much weaker minded. And we came up with this phrase in 2019 that while we've been upgrading the machines, we've been downgrading humans, downgrading our attention spans, our critical thinking, et cetera. And what we should be aiming for, and what we should have agency about, is how do we get to human upgrading? What does it look like for humane technology to be creating upward spirals where it gives us better critical thinking, better attentional continuity of attention, better ability to form social relationships, better at showing up in relationship and being there for other people. Right now, we're atrophying many of those skills.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but think the people that are listening who probably are hearing this, and at some level, it's almost like they don't believe it. Like they'll
Yeah.
hear the story about the guy who proposed to his own ChatGPT and be like, okay, he's just mentally ill or he's crazy.
The guy who committed suicide, you said?
No, the proposed to his own ChatGPT. This was like on people and other like a few months
sorry,
ago.
the people who proposed to their ChatGPT?
No, there was a guy that actually proposed to his own ChatGPT. He got so attached.
Oh yeah. We already know about that. We know
Oh
about that. I'm
my.
skipping- Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear about that? You didn't hear about that? Oh, you didn't hear about? Yeah. Shit, yeah.
You can't be serious.
Ladies, y'all better be careful because motherfuckers is proposing to these robots, man. And
Oh.
okay,
I saw one in Japan. He actually married it. He married
Yeah,
some.
there you go. That's one less brother out there for y'all to, that's one less brother out there, man. So, we being attacked from all angles, man, is what I'm trying to show y'all, man. You know what I mean? Hit that like button. Hey, I'm gonna skip ahead in the video a little bit because it's another section he talks about. I think is pretty important, man. This the remix with Cali Dre, man. We doing this AI versus humanity. We got Miss U.S. Navy in the building, sharing all her expertise with us. We definitely appreciate that. Let's get it. Okay, let's not get it. Damn it. Listen,
You realize
we still gonna get to the bottom of that Master P bootleg ass commercial we just seen too, bro. Well, I ain't forgot about that. Let's tap back in with this.
Up, maybe our military capabilities are going up, but we're getting lung failure, heart failure, organ failure inside the body. Like we're weakening our internal organs while we're externally looking like we're getting all this extra boosting and intelligence and capability.
So,
And by the way, this isn't like, oh, technology just does that and Tristan's a doomer. It's like, no, what would it look like to design and roll out technology in a way that is holistically healing and creating upward spirals where our organs get stronger, our critical thinking goes up. And it's possible to do that, but it kind of starts that narrative I gave at the very beginning of our
it sounds so obvious. I mean, you're just preaching to the choir.
Good.
I mean, that's like what we're all about. And I think I think the elephant in the room is, why is this progressing so quickly if no one is asking for it and there are these like existential dangers of this? Why is it going so fast right now?
So the real reason why it's going so fast starts with one belief, which is I believe this is inevitable. I can't stop it. Someone else is going to build it if I don't. I believe I have better values than the other people who might build it, who are less trustworthy. I think I would be a better steward of that power. So I should build it and race to get there first. It's inevitable. If I don't build it, someone else will. I believe I'm a better steward of that power, so I have to race to get there first, right? So let's say all of our listeners listening to this were like, this sounds crazy. I totally agree. Let's just stop. Well, if you can't stop DeepSeek in China from building it, then they could use their AI model to maybe do something that undermines the United States or vice versa. And so there's sort of two risks that you have to manage. So I want to answer your question more directly. So hopefully that's the first part is answering your question. The reason why this seems so obviously stupid that everyone continues to build it is it's like, if I can't build the suicide technology that destroys life as we know it, then I have to build it before the other guy creates suicide, technology destroys life as we know it. And then we're all basically rolling out this technology in a reckless way. And I think that there's a careful management here of the right answer, which is there's two risks we have to balance. There's the risk of building AI, which is everything we've been talking about. And there's the risk of not building AI, which is someone else builds it and some crazy thing happens and that is even worse. If you want to make it in the social media terms, there's the risk of building social media and all the problems that we talked about. Then there's the risk of not building social media, and then TikTok, which is built by China, dominates the entire world, controls the global information flows of the world, lets the Chinese Communist Party tilt the dials to be like, oh, I want people to hear about these points of view instead of these points of view. So there's two risks to manage: the risk of not building it and the risk of building it. It's just like with nuclear weapons. We had the risk of nuclear weapons going off and ruining the world. And we also had the risk of not building nuclear weapons and then creating a power structure that would do that. But we did.
Yeah, that's the Cold War, man. I was just about to say that. This reminds me of the actions that were taken by the US and Russia during the Cold War. I mean, I got to get the nukes first before the other guy get the nukes, man. And it's we have to learn lessons from the past, man. I mean, luckily, we didn't have any nuclear major incidences that I know about. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, but that whole, that I mean, and again, that threat ain't over because Trump in office right now threatening to point nukes at Iran and all kind of, you know what I mean? So that threat is still there, I guess is my point. So again, it's just another thing we got to factor in. Go ahead. Did you want to say something?
No, that was good. I think I covered that earlier where, he's right. How do you stop now? Because your enemies, nations are racing to have the top technology, right? So we have to stay ahead of them. And that's honestly what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're not going to stop. They don't care about the environment. They don't care about people. They don't care. So it's all about power and dominance. So it's almost like now we're in a trap where we can't get out. Even if we wanted to stop, there's no way you can stop now.
Absolutely. It's a catch-22, man. You know what I'm saying? We found ourselves at what they call on the streets a trick bag. You know what I'm saying? Either way you go. Man. But we'll get into that later when we'll get to that. But yeah, listen, I just want y'all to really, I'm gonna give it to y'all straight. And this is where we at. So, as much as we may want to put pause on the technology, there are valid reasons that we may not be able to do that at this point. So, I mean, what can we do? In my opinion, make it safer and make sure everybody has a stake in the benefit and minimize the risk as much as possible. But let's tap back in with this, man. How you good on time or what you looking like?
I'm good on time.
Okay. All right. I think it's almost over too. Hit that like button, man. I hope y'all enjoying this content. Let's get it, man.
Did that with nuclear weapons successfully. And what it took was a lot of careful work by a lot of people who didn't just say, well, nuclear Armageddon's inevitable, so we might as well just build them as fast as possible. And then
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store.
I dare you to let me run my show, player. Come on, brother. Shout out the mouthpiece.
That was dumb. We actually worked really hard to create permission access control links. These are the kinds of systems that make sure nuclear weapons can only be launched with these codes, maybe the dual key thing, these kinds of inventions.
This is after Oppenheimer?
Yeah, this is after the first atomic bomb was exploded. But I think it's important to note the atomic bomb and Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those two atomic bomb explosions gave people a visceral sense of this is real.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's gonna take, man. Here, I'm gonna skip along in the video because it's another important point that he covers that I wanna highlight really quickly. Okay, I think it's over here, man. Here, let's take a look at this, man. This is the remix with Cali Dre. Appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy. This is AI versus humanity. You got me here, you got Miss US Navy here, man. We trying to help y'all. Help us, help y'all. You know what I'm saying? Share out the live ASAP.
Perspective and what you're articulating.
So happy to hear that.
I don't see that at all. I think if I had a 75% chance of risking cancer, I think someone should probably tell me that I have 75% chance.
So we can do something about it.
Yeah, and so if you were to, we've laid out all these risks, the existential threats, what the government's doing right now. I think if we did best and kind of worst case scenarios, I mean, it's hard to nail down these numbers, but if you would take the job market, right, we're in 2025. How many years do we have before you're probably going to see mass job loss? If things continue on this crazy insanity pace that we're on right now.
Eric Bernholfsen's work on this most recently is that we're already seeing, I think it's a 13% job loss drop for, I believe it's white collar, entry-level white collar work. So basically college entry-level work. There's a 13% drop in people's ability to find jobs. And that's already pretty significant. And by the way, it's important to name there are long-term consequences. Some people, I was at a dinner last night and people were like, oh, well, I think it's just going to take much longer for this to happen. But it's well, how much longer? It's 5 years. Well, that's still unbelievably short timeline for a crazy transformation to our society. So think about like a law firm where you have the senior partners who are paid a really high rate, and then you have all the paralegals and the lower level, entry level law students who just came out of law school and they work at the law firm. And they're also paid a much lower rate, but it's still a high rate. And now, rather than, paying your, paralegal and your legal assistant hundreds of dollars per hour to go off and do all this work over a week and come back with legal analysis, ChatGPT 5 is actually like really darn good at it. And now you don't have to hire those entry level jobs. That's the first problem. Second problem is, how do you get to senior partners? You have lawyers that have to do a lifetime worth of law and get really good at it. Well, what happens when we don't get the intergenerational knowledge transmission because we're not hiring the young lawyers anymore? And so you don't get to have the training process so that young lawyers get to become senior lawyers. I just was last night here in New York and I met a lawyer who's like now actually just doing DJing full time because he makes more money DJing than he does his doing entry level law work.
Yeah, blown away. Blown away. I appreciate that, Denise. Most definitely. AI versus humanity, man. This shit is real. As you just heard, he knows a guy who's a lawyer who is DJing because he making more money DJing than being a damn lawyer. ChatGPT then put his ass out of work.
I have a friend, he's a lawyer, and he turned to designer. He's a designer.
Sure. There it is.
Right. Another
There it
one
is.
went into real estate.
This is
Another
real,
one,
man.
yeah, it is real. And I think on the first show that you had, your first episode, they said that the
Our
AI was passing the test, right? Better than the majority of people who actually take the
Oh yeah,
GMAT.
yeah, absolutely. The I think it was the law test, medical. I think that I mean, listen, yeah, this is. I hope this video illustrates how each segment of our society is going to be affected by AI
Yes.
technology. It's not just a new technology that's affecting one area. This technology is going to affect every segment of our economy and our lives.
It's true. It's affecting us right now. We're working in finance and we see it. We see them trying to literally outsource us with this technology.
Every single day, man. Every day. We fighting a battle. If y'all don't know, me and Miss US Navy work together, man. And we fighting a battle. I ain't gonna talk too much about it. You know what I mean? But we in a battle right now with AI ourselves and a whole bunch of other goofy ass shit. But yeah, you make a great point with that, man. It's here. It's here.
Mhm.
It's here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Let's get it.
So it's not just the short-term risk of not finding jobs, it's like the long-term risk of how our society and its expertise can be transmitted. And one thing that a civilization needs for long-term sustainability is intergenerational knowledge and wisdom transmission. And that requires real relationships, that requires real expertise, that requires these sort of exposure to the ineffable, extra dimensions of these different problems, the subtext to someone's body language when they're working through a problem. There's all these invisible cues that we get when we're working through things. And we need to have systems that are going to enable that.
I think the estimates around jobs are one of the most relevant conversations to the individual person right now, because let's just say, take the cancer example. If you were to say, okay, 50, 75% chance of risk cancer, you should be doing these 5 tests right now because of that. And I think that when there's so much confusion around the job numbers and are people just overhyping this and this is ridiculous and there's actually not that much risk in the near future, or oh wow, like this industry might atrophy in the next 2 years and that's what I do right now and I don't know what I'm going to do, I'm not going to have a job.
Yep.
After that becomes like a much more relevant conversation.
I mean, there's obviously jobs that are much easier to replace, like transcribing medical things, or language translation, or illustration, or graphics artists, or copywriting, or social media marketing. These are all things that are going to be automated very quickly because they have a full loop of generating equivalent material and then being able to optimize it. It doesn't have the same spirit or the purposefulness or intention or that ineffable quality, but people will only ask one question. If it performs just as well as the other one, then it's swappable. You can swap it out without a cost. I'm not saying that's right. I just mean that's the incentives that are underway right now. So it's going to be hard to know how long jobs takes for different kinds of jobs. The point is that it's only moving in one direction right now. AI is the least powerful and least scary it will ever be, and least capable it will ever be. And it's getting rapidly more capable every few months. And people should be prepared for how do we navigate that transition. And people should frankly be outraged and tell their politicians this is a top tier issue. Like people should be writing their senators saying, you should vote in the next election based on whether your candidate is just accelerating AI recklessly. And there's a new $100 million super PAC by the AI accelerationists that are trying to fund just AI acceleration candidates. And by the way, they have a huge advantage because they have billions and trillions of dollars that they're invested in. They want to fund their ability to outcompete others in the race. We need to counter.
Further context, it says August 2025, Silicon Valley investors launched Leading the Future, a $100 million super PAC to elect pro AI candidates and fight regulation. Backers include Horowitz, Brockman, Conway, Lonsdale, pushing rapid AI acceleration. So yeah, man, this is a very, very important topic. Millions and hundreds of millions of dollars are being spent while you guys are sleeping to advance this technology, man. And I think that you should be aware of it, and that's why we're doing this show. You got anything you want to add on that?
I think it's excellent that he mentioned this because we just said that earlier. Start, getting more involved politically with your politicians, your community, because again, there is no regulation, so there's no stopping it to go either good or bad. So I think again, wasting time on just nonsensical things, doom scrolling, having these wasted conversations about, artists and who's having an affair with whom. This needs to be top of mind and top of conversation, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
For that. And there needs to be people who are willing to vote for the politicians saying this is ridiculous. We should not be releasing inscrutable AIs preying on our children, causing them to have attachment disorders, causing them to commit suicide, causing AI psychosis. We should not be releasing AIs that are replacing jobs faster than we have a transition plan. We should not be releasing AIs that, multiplied by surveillance, create whole new forms of AI surveillance we haven't talked about that erode privacy and freedom forever. We should not be releasing super intelligent AI systems that are more powerful than us and that we don't know how to control, that are going to outcompete us in everything. We cannot release those things. These are things we should all agree on. And all of this is just dependent on seeing clearly that the default path that we're currently going towards, if you just take the current incentives, is just not one that we want. And I almost want there to be just like a single website that lets people just sort of mark their membership of, even if we don't know what the other path is yet, we need to be committed that we need to be in search of this other, we call the narrow path, and not allow this default, reckless, insane path to continue.
It's interesting in terms of the default reckless path. I mean, I did an exercise, it was probably in May with ChatGPT, and I mean, I was at this for like 4 hours, 5 hours. I was like running through like all these different scenarios. And after like all this different modeling, it popped out this thing of basically it was saying that the most likely scenario would be that by 2027, in 2 years, you would have significant job loss. But by 2028, you would have a scenario potentially where you have people protesting in the streets that they're losing jobs and they're not actually being replaced. Was that
not being replaced meaning because they were successful in some way, or what do you mean?
Meaning they lost their job, but there's no job for them to step into?
Oh, yeah, exactly. There's no.
Is that?
I mean, people can become massage therapists for a while or become part of the caring economy. I mean, I think that there will be an incentive for people to move into things that are about human care, that are where people just want to interact with humans.
That's one thing I've been talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not an expert on this, and this is a really hard problem, but the point is we're currently going faster than we'll be able to manage this transition. We should not have billions of jobs and livelihoods disrupted. It's not about protecting the jobs, by the way. A lot of people don't like their job, but we shouldn't have a billion livelihoods where you can't find a job. You have no way to put food on the table and disrupt billions of people's livelihoods without a transition plan.
Now, the other thing you had mentioned outside the job is like that line of intelligence, right? And so people who are in the know about a lot of this stuff, what are they saying about that line of like how, where this intelligence would surpass us, and then you're kind of at a point of no return at that?
Well, what's confusing about AI is that intelligence is lopsided. So people like Gary Marcus, who's a friend, will rightly point out places where AI will make mistakes on very simple questions. Like I think the question is like, how many strawberries are in the word "are," which is a nonsensical question, and it'll answer like 4 or something. And the answer is like, well, strawberries is not in the word "are," it's reversing the question. It gets so many things embarrassingly wrong, but it also has superhuman performance in a bunch of domains like programming and math. It now is the won gold medal in the International Math Olympiad. That's a new capability. AI is discovering new materials. It's discovering new antibiotics. It's doing superhuman discovery of viruses. There was a Stanford paper out just last week. It's doing things at a superhuman ability already. And what's confusing is to have this one object called AI that if you look at it from this angle, you see 50 examples of where it's embarrassingly wrong. And if you look at it from this angle, you see 50 examples of where it's way past human performance and can do superhuman things that no human can do. And then you get these polarized fights with the people who are looking at what it gets embarrassingly wrong, using that to say smugly, like, there's no problem here, this is all just hype. Meanwhile, the technology gets way more superhuman in these other domains. And the people on this side talking just about the capabilities who sound like they're in denial about the places that they're getting it wrong. And I'm naming all that because we have to come together and unify these conversations so that there is a shared sort of boundary or no on the default path. It is both true that AI is embarrassingly wrong and not perfect in so many obvious ways, and it won't replace a lot of jobs until it's like much, much, much better. And it may take a jump in the technology breakthrough, that it'll take a technology breakthrough to get to some of that performance, that it does take some jobs. But it's also so good at certain other domains that it's going to start outcompeting us in a bunch of areas. And we're already seeing that. But rather than be in fights about it, we should just be on the same team saying, this is the most powerful, inscrutable, uncontrollable technology we've ever invented. It is already demonstrating rogue sci-fi behaviors we thought only existed in movies. We're releasing it faster than we deployed any other technology in history, ones that we've already screwed up. And we're doing it under the maximum incentive to cut corners on safety.
Shout out to this brother, man. I mean, he is in depth and in tuned, tapped in all the way with this content, and most definitely breaking it down. He almost breaking it down to the level where Callie Dre would break it down. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. He almost as in depth with this shit as I am. But y'all know how I do it, man. Ms. U.S. Navy, y'all, you got something you want to throw on this?
I really appreciate this man. I don't know how you found him, but what a great commentator on this topic. And I think he's right. You know, it's already outsourced a lot of jobs already. So again, he's right. We need to vote based on who is really behind this race without regulation. Okay, without any regulation whatsoever, because again, what kind of society, what kind of communities, and what kind of futures do we have for the generations behind us if this is the way we continue, or the path that we continue to stay on?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the default path. We have to find a narrower path that has more regulation and less recklessness. Most definitely.
I love that he said that, but I love also that he said, you know, look at the politicians who are pushing for this without regulation. Right now, for me, I think that our focus on our politicians is just so one-dimensional right now, where everybody's talking about the same thing, if it's race or it's Trump or it's, you know, whatever it is. But this is honestly the most important topic and needs to be questioned, because I don't hear anybody on during these debates. I don't hear anybody when they're being interviewed. Nobody is talking about it.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's just going to come a moment where we're blindsided out of a job. And then, like he said, where are we going to be able to even get a job? There won't be any jobs. So what next?
We're going to keep you ahead of the game over here at the Remix with Callie Dre, man. This is AI versus Humanity, episode 2, man. We breaking it down as well as it can be broken down around here, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Let's get it.
There's one obvious word for what we're doing right now, which is that this is insane. And we need to stop pretending that this is normal. This is not okay.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be afraid of saying that.
Yeah.
I think people are afraid of saying that because they're afraid of appearing like a Luddite. They're afraid of being against technology. They're afraid of being part of a moral panic. But we've just outlined like many concrete pathways to where this is not going to be in service of everyone's benefit.
Yeah. So much of what you're saying it's just regular in the public discourse. I mean, I see it in the news all the time. Some of the reasoning, some of the logic, some of the arguments about all this stuff. I mean, ChatGPT 5 that just came out, I mean, that was used as ammunition in the public discourse of like, oh, this was worse than GPT-4,
right?
Or some of the
people not as good as what people are
Yeah,
expecting.
and so
the AI progress is slowing, so we're not going to get there. Go on.
Yeah, and then some of the other reasoning. I mean, Sam Altman's on the record saying if OpenAI does not move quickly, someone else will, and the fate of AI could slip out of the hands of some of the most mindful about social consequences. He said that. Eric Schmidt has said the thing about China that you're saying. It's just like you're hearing all this lines of reasoning, and there's just so much confusion. There's so much like, what is actually happening? Who do I trust? What do I believe? And it leaves the person who sometimes feels powerless to be like, what the hell is happening right now? I have no idea, you know?
Well, I think there's this weird thing going on, which is like, either I just want to talk about the optimism because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Or if I do really confront these negative consequences, then I just feel powerless, overwhelmed, and like hopeless, and I don't want to do anything with my life because it feels like we're just in the passenger seat or the back seat of a car that's being driven by 5 CEOs of 5 AI companies, and I can't do anything about it. And I think that this moment requires the solidarity of a movement of people that says that this is not okay. I know that sounds crazy, but if you take seriously the jobs alone, AI will create like a billion-person movement of people whose jobs and livelihoods are threatened in the next single-digit number of years, probably. Maybe it's 9 years, but it's like the next single-digit number of years. And I think whether it's energy prices going up for regular people, by the way, which we didn't talk about, of data center prices, data center sucking.
You
away
talk
all
about
the
that
energy.
like it's a worst, well, like a worst case, like a 9-year thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about the energy over here at the Remix with Callie Dre, man, because that's how we do. We break it down, man. We looking at it from all angles and all perspectives over here. But as y'all can see, he's breaking down how AI is going to affect humanity, whether you think so or not, whether you wanted to or not, whether you like it or not. There are 5 CEOs that are in a race to get to super AI, which means that you are going to be super A out of a job. Shout out to Queenie C88 in the building. She said, shake my head. Yeah, they're using AI now with these damn insurance companies. Oh yeah, most definitely. The insurance company is most definitely being affected. And at some point here within the next single digit number of years, as he stated, all industries are going to be affected. Ms. U.S. Navy, you got something you want to add on this?
Oh, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think he's right. I think all these movements and protests you see about all this stupidity in the streets right now, this needs to be the protest collectively because every single industry is affected. All of them. I love what Ms. Queenie said. Even the insurance companies are doing AI now. And if you go to a drive-through, they're doing AI. At the grocery store, it's AI. Stores are all AI. It's like getting harder and harder to find a person. But my question is always, well, where are these people? Where are they working if they're not working here? And also, you know what I noticed? One difference is that, I'm noticing a lot of the jobs that usually when school's out, high schoolers have these jobs, at the burger stand or at the ice cream store or at the grocery store. But as long as we keep automating, how are they going to get experience ever? how. Not even before we get to college, but they're not giving anyone a chance to grow. And like he said, where do you get you can have AI and they can pass these tests and they can be super smart, but there's some type of human experience that's gained that plays into the wisdom that we gain over the years of our lives that really makes a difference that robotics cannot replace. And so what I love what he said, what about those really touch and feel type industries like healthcare? Do you want a robotic nurse or do you want a real one? Do you want a robotic doctor or do you want a real one? Do you want a machine working on your car? Maybe in some aspects, but you want to be able to talk to the mechanic who can break your stuff down for you. So it's just we don't want to lose that human element of humanity because
Yeah,
again, we're
absolutely.
not robots, we're humans, and we're never going to not be a human. So we're going to need to have that interaction no matter what. And I just worry about the kids coming up behind us. Like I said, if we don't get these kids, we start raising up innovators and engineers and people in tech and people who can actually think and come up with ideas and be able to combat what might be out of control at some point in time, which is we're almost there. I mean, he said
Yeah,
single
yeah,
digit
absolutely.
number of
Absolutely.
years, meaning
Absolutely.
nine at the max.
Absolutely.
And that's not a
Absolutely.
long time.
No, not at all. And I think we are, that's why we doing this over here at the Remix with Callie Dre, man. AI versus humanity, episode 2. Man, we trying to save your damn job. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Like, yeah, one of the worst or like more conservative cases would be like 9 years away for
That's
a billion
insane.
number of jobs being, yeah, it's insane. It's insane. That's what I'm saying. But there's so many people who say, oh, it's 9 years, not 2 years. Therefore, there's really nothing to worry about. It's all hype. I just want to notice where is that coming from? If you just tune for a second, is that coming from calm, grounded rationality, or is it coming from if it's not 2 years, then I get to actually just live my life and
That's
keep
like you
focusing on what I
being
want.
that's like you being 40 years old and you're like, I'm gonna die at 49, so it's not a big deal.
Exactly.
You're still not dying when you're 85. You're
Exactly.
dying when you're 49.
I don't know about you, but life is pretty amazing. This
Yeah.
universe, this life, joy, connection, people, family, think about what you love. You want that to continue. Why should we accept? It's funny. There was go back to the 1980s, 1985.
Websites your competitors don't want you to know, part 2.
Yeah, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. AI versus humanity. Breaking this shit down as only we can, man.
Scientists are raising the alarm about the ozone hole. They started actually in the 70s raising an alarm about it, but it's 85. There's an ozone hole in the atmosphere. Everyone's life is threatened. Specifically, it's going to give everybody cancer, skin cancer, and it's going to give everybody cataracts. And it's going to basically screw up plankton and life on Earth if we don't deal with this massive hole in the ozone layer. It's a real thing that happened. And we could have just said, when the scientists warned us about that, I guess we're just doomed. I guess there's nothing we can do. Let's just go to the beach and drink margaritas, or say, I guess there's nothing we can do. It's inevitable. The ozone hole is inevitable. It's ridiculous. 2 years later, we did the Montreal Protocol negotiated with the United Nations, and 190 countries got together to say we need to regulate private companies producing a technology of chemistry, CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, that together collectively were creating this collective problem that didn't have national boundaries, called an ozone hole. And we had 190 countries in a gradual phase out of those chemicals lead to the reduction of the ozone hole.
Hey, that's a real thing though. If you grew up, man, listen, I was in school around that time, about 85. You know what I'm saying? I'm most definitely an 80s baby, man. And the hole in the ozone layer came out of nowhere. But with that problem, most definitely was a large thing, and it affected everybody. And as he just explained, collectively, we were able to get a bunch of countries together to phase out whatever chemicals that were causing that. Now, I mean, are we completely out of it? Nah, because people still driving around with coal and gas and all that shit, but we still were able to, significantly reduce the problem. And I think that's going to be the same type of approach that we have to have with this AI technology. But my fear is that people don't see the risks, and they're only glamorized by what they perceive as the successes. And so that's why I'm covering this in this show. That's why we're listening to the experts, ex-Google whistleblower, why tech CEOs fear AI could end humanity. That's the title of this video. So this ain't me capping, man. This ain't me putting extras on it, blowing smoke. Nah, this is the title of this motherfucking video. It got millions of views, and that's why we watching it here, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You got anything you want to add on that?
I love what he said, and I do remember that. I was in school too, so we're 80s kids, and that was a huge deal. And I think it would be best attacked collectively, probably not by the bigger countries like China, and some others, but smaller countries who would be pretty much wiped off the map if this technology were to take over, right? Even in transportation, logistics, manufacturing, a lot of smaller countries, less, more not first world countries, they're the ones that are going to really, really suffer as well. So I think that's a great idea, and he's right. Like, we cannot just sit here and think, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, when the implications are so catastrophically destructive. So equivalating that to a nuclear war, that's pretty a big deal. And I think we need to have more uproar about it, more conversation about it, and actually start questioning our congressional leaders about this thing as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example he just gave about the ozone layer problem, right? Because there's a blueprint right there that we can tap into, right? There's a blueprint that if a lot of countries are affected, we can get together on this. And so I just think he hit a home run with this, man. And I watched a bunch of these AI videos over the course of time. We're gonna break down some more of these just so that I can continue this series. But this one I wanted to show first because, like I said, I thought he was the most detailed. He's giving vivid examples that paint a picture that's easy for people to understand. And so I thank him for doing this interview, man, and I appreciate y'all for rocking with it. Let's get a little bit more information before we close the show. Hit that like button too, man. Subscribe to the channel.
We didn't say it was inevitable. There's nothing we can do, and I guess we're just screwed. Like, when did we stop standing up and saying doom is inevitable? Like, it's funny because, like, the real doomers, the people who are sort of in the inevitable doom side, are the people building the technology, because they're believing in the inevitability and therefore the inevitability of the bad outcome. And this is about actually standing against that and saying we do have examples in history where we coordinate if we're clear enough about the collective ozone hole. Now, with AI, it's not an ozone hole. It's like a massive livelihoods hole in the job market. It's a biological risk hole in the case of AI advancing biology. It's a privacy liberty hole in the case of AI surveillance, like creating whole new worlds where we can't have private thoughts because we have or private conversations because you have AI signal detection happening everywhere. Every phone, every audio device can be processed with an LLM that's understanding everything. Like, there's obvious, AI-sized global holes in our collective human atmosphere, and we need to stand up and say, like, let's do something about it.
I was watching a little bit of Sam Altman.
Yeah, man, I think we're gonna end it right there, man. I think that's a perfect spot to end episode 2 of AI versus humanity, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking with this content. We got Miss US Navy in the building, been rocking the show all day, man. Appreciate her for tapping in, man. You got any final commentary that you want to give to the people?
I just want to say thank you, and thank you to all of your followers who commented on this really important topic. I hope that it actually jogs others to start having these conversations, personally, collectively, in the community, and really start taking this to our leaders. So I love that he said, "Why are we afraid to speak up? Because if we don't, we're going to be phased out." So I'm so glad that you brought this to your channel, and thank you so much for letting me join in the conversation. It's been a blast.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you for coming and blessing us with all your wisdom and your game, man. Let us know what your channel is and what you're doing and how you helping the people right now.
I appreciate you. So again, my whole mission is to help people not be blindsided and unprepared. Again, I became a widow in my 50s, and that's really such an unexpected time for just anyone in a relationship. And so, not prepared
You said in your
financially, not
30s. Man, my bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
So I'm here to help with financial strategies, business strategies. I'm a John Maxwell coach and trainer as well. So, having conversations like this and getting ready, getting prepared, not only for yourself, but your employees, your family, your kids, is something that I am absolutely on a mission to help do. So thank you so much, DeAndre, for letting me be here with you and your followers, your listeners, and people who tune in. I have a channel on YouTube. DeAndre has been such an inspiration for me to actually get that up and going. It's BCI for the business, but I also have one for faith and leadership, which I am going to bring to the YouTube world, where we talk about all things concerning faith and leadership and how our faith really guides us as leaders. So I'll keep you all posted and share it here so you can join me over there. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Do you have your channel up yet or no? Do you have your YouTube channel up yet?
I do have it up. I haven't. I'm just getting started, but it is
What
faith
can they
and.
what's the name of your channel, man? They asking where can they follow you? The
Oh
chat is
yeah,
they liking
faith
you.
and
Yeah.
leadership. Faith and leadership on YouTube. Faith and leadership is the channel. I'll type it in here.
Yeah, type it in here, man, so the channel
Yeah,
can follow you. We definitely appreciate all your
I
game
really
and
love
wisdom,
that.
man.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so
it's
much.
faith and leadership. Faith and
Yes.
leadership. There it is. Yeah, she put it right there in the chat. Faith and leadership. So yeah, go ahead and follow Miss US Navy, man. She definitely is about what she talking about helping people, man. She cares about people, cares about the community, us building and us growing, and that's why we linked up and trying to put this content out for you guys, man. So definitely tap in with her, man. Ask her questions, follow her content. She about to be dropping a whole bunch of dope content as well, man. And we appreciate her coming to you know what I'm saying, bless the show with all of her knowledge and expertise. Yeah, man.
It's a blessing. God bless you
Yeah,
always.
God bless. You guys, yeah, most definitely, man. But yeah, check it out. I appreciate y'all as well, man, for tapping into this content. Like I said, I've had this show in the books, man, for about 6 months. You know what I mean? I've just been trying to figure out when I wanted to drop it, but I was like, me and Ms. US Navy, we actually work together, man. So, I was chopping it up with her about it, man. And I was like, I want you to come on and let's talk about this, man. I want the people to really see, what an accomplished, Blasian woman looks like, you know what I mean? And how we can all together rise as a people. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, that's what I'm all about, man. I told y'all, man, I'm always on here, man, trying to promote something positive. We're going to talk about a bunch of bullshit on my show. We do enough of that. But I feel like I got to give something positive to the people, man. And so that's what I'm trying to do with this series of shows. I got a bunch of other stuff cooking, man, but we rolling out this AI versus humanity, man. So I really appreciate y'all for tapping in. Hope y'all, you know what I'm saying? Hope y'all was digging the content, man. And we got much more to come. But on that note, man, I'm about to get out of here, man. I got NCAA 2027 is waiting, man. You know what I'm saying? If you on that Xbox, holla at your boy. Cali Dre is on there too, man. I'm everywhere with this shit. I told you.
Money on my mind, got my money in my mind. Money on my mind, got no time for the limelight. I'm from California, man, I guess we'll start with that. Banged out starter caps, glued to the cul-de-sac, looking like an artifact, trying to get their money back. Yellow jackets coming, mama about to have a heart attack. Southeast San Diego, we was at the heart of that. You moved about the hood, my nigga, you ain't want no part of that. Move to work and let the money drip the laundry mat. I pray to God the homie get his little daughter back. So many problems and it's not even a part of rap. So many suckers and they hating and they copycat. And life is bigger than these bitches that you hollered at. And if you bleed it out, I better get $3 back. And all I'm giving is the facts. Pay attention to the stats and never making mention of the jacks. Gotta keep the money stacked, work your way through the tracks. Money motivated to the max. Money on my mind, got my money in my mind. Money on my mind, got my